mean, I don't like having, obviously, genuinely embarrassing moments with anybody, but I don't like having them with coworkers especially. And I just had something happen to me this morning that is the most embarrassed I've been with a coworker since I came out of this room holding a gift from Izzy Gutierrez that was a Christmas gift that I didn't know was a Christmas gift. And I just asked in front of Izzy Gutierrez, does anyone want this? Like, I just asked everybody this because I didn't. I came back from vacation. It had still been in the office. I didn't remember that it was given. And so that feeling was conjured for me today when very innocently, and I can be oblivious, I looked at Jeremy and the light blue sweater that he was wearing, and I said, what punishment are you serving today? And I wasn't trying to insult him. I was asking the question genuinely because Mike confused me yesterday by being Pete Carroll by just wearing a Raiders hoodie, and I didn't know he was serving a punishment when he came in from the way that he was dressed.
It was a quarter zip.
So the Izzy story, you should be embarrassed and ashamed. That is awful because there was something done in a moment of tenderness and thoughtfulness, and you very dismissively said, who wants this, right? Asking Jeremy what punishment he's serving is hilarious. God, my God.
It was pretty funny.
Well, no, but I felt...
Is that a punishment, you said?
Dan, don't sell yourself short. Just moments later, you asked, is Amin in today while he was sitting directly in front of you?
I was like 3, maybe 2.5 feet away from you.
Yeah, but that's not the same as asking whether Amin was dressed in a form of penalty. And no, that's just the sweater that Jeremy chose. So that question's offensive. It's an offensive question.
Right. Yeah, the craziest part about it is I came in today feeling really, really good because when I was walking from getting my Starbucks, I'm walking through the U.S. court area,
you whistle
and a cop.
while you walk, yeah?
Oh yeah, and a cop stops me, and he's like, "Hey, sir," and so I'm like, "Oh no, did I do something wrong? Did I jaywalk? Whatever?" And he goes,
"Did I jaywalk?"
And he goes, "Hey man, big fan. I love that sweater. It looks great. Where did you get it? No joke. Love that sweater. Where'd you get it?" Tell him, "Oh, hey, over at the Heats Arena." So then I walk over here. I walk into the Elser, and I've got. Yeah, he did say big fan.
And
I've got
he was for sure trolling.
Okay,
Perhaps
and I've got
spin.
headphones in. I've got
Tobey
headphones.
Maguire in Spider-Man
and
3.
The concierge looks at me and she goes, like she points at her ears, and so I take out my headphones and she goes, "Oh, I love that sweater. Where did you get it? It looks great." And I said, "Wow, you're the second person who said that to me today. Thank you so much. I came in here all excited." I get compliments from multiple people when I walk in, and then Dan walks in and asks me, "Is that a punishment?"
Yeah. Lorenzo Butler was happy up until that last part.
I texted Lorenzo.
Miami Heat PR, because I know Dan doesn't like it when I say names without explaining who it
Let's
is.
talk about Ethan's dog again. That was a good idea yesterday.
Percy, come on.
Football is back, Jack. Oh my, we've waited for so long. We're so damn excited that we put it in a song. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. Keep your fantasy team from falling off the track. Football is back, Jack. Whether on the ground or through the air. When the chips are down and you throw a prayer. When your team is primed and on the hunt, it's 4th and 10, you refuse to punt. When the shoulder pads and helmets crack, that's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say, football is back, Jack. This high is wild and out of control. And we're gonna ride it every week till we reach the Super Bowl. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Football is back.
we're at the time of year where I think Tony and Jeremy are going to have to put an electrical collar on Mike to keep him from talking about the University of Miami and yelling about committees and rankings and the SEC. So we will get to some college football stuff here in a second. But before we do that, because the Dolphins are playing the 9:30 game in Spain this weekend, I was simply curious as these reports come out that Miami, that the Dolphins, a team that haven't been relevant this century, are going to Spain, that they want to be America's Latin team, that they want to go to Spanish countries and do what Jacksonville does with London, where you lose home games, but you're sending your product overseas and you're making your fan base more global. Should fans treasure the home game experience so much in football when you only get 8 or 9 of them that you want to be xenophobic and say, no, I want the home field advantage in the AFC East of not playing a game over an ocean? I don't care if it sells the game globally.
I don't think that makes you a xenophobe. That's strong, I think. Walk it back.
I just wanted to use the word xenophobe.
I know you came out of nowhere.
Put it on the poll. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show.
Dan just want to use the word xenophobe.
Is xenophobe a good word? Fun? Is xenophobe a fun word?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Oh, Spaniards.
It doesn't make you a xenophobe, but there are plenty of folks who do not want their home games, I would assume, don't want their home games sent overseas, especially if you have a season ticket package.
Right. But to be clear, that doesn't make you a xenophobe. That just makes you a football fan.
You should get a ticket in Spain. If you have season tickets and they lose a home game, you should just get a seat.
Good idea. I think that they do have some kind of priority when it comes to those games.
You know what's better than a home game?
What's that?
Fun road game that you and all the boys
Love
travel
it.
to.
Mm-hmm.
I know Mike loves that. I know Chris loves
Love
that. Hey, we're going to go all of us to Spain. Sell it to the wives. We'll hang out in Spain for a couple of days. All of a sudden, come
a
back.
work trip, honey.
Exactly
Gotta go.
right. That's better than a home game. Home game, what do you walk into the tailgate? Oh, I see the same guy I see
You know
every
how many
week.
sporting trips I've just said to my wife it's a work trip?
Exactly right.
Like taking candy from a baby.
What age do you think that you'll grow out of that? What age are the children? There is an age where one grows out of that, correct?
Lying to your wife?
I'm still looking for it.
Not lying to your wife, but going on the boys' trip where you're not tired of the boys.
But
When
never.
was your last boys trip, Dan?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah,
Was
it's
it
been a
New
minute.
Orleans?
See?
Mashed potatoes? My
And
dad's hair?
No, there were a couple of Vegas trips, but yeah, it's been a minute.
When was the last time you lied to your wife?
The reason that I don't do very much of that.
come on,
the,
Dano.
the reason that I was
Very much, yeah.
the reason that I was asking the question though is because at some point I did grow out of that. It's why I was asking, because all of you seem eager about the boys trip, and I'm like, at some point you grow out of that.
What was the boys' trip that made you say, enough, this has never happened?
Well, Vegas does this. Vegas's expiration date with me is like 5 or 6 past these particular trips, where I'm like excited about going on the trip, and then after the trip, I feel pretty gross about myself and all
the best kind.
and all the choices that I've made.
Those are your decisions,
That's
though. It
the
didn't
good
have to
stuff.
do with the boys, right? You and the
It's on
boys,
the boys, man.
made things happen. You made bad decisions.
A
That's
little
on you.
post-boys trip regret?
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. A little post
A little post-boys trip
boys
regret.
trip regret. Yes.
Exclamation point.
But you throw Vegas in there, it makes it even worse. Vegas and Miami are the dirtiest American cities to do that in, right? Where
New Orleans would like a word.
Oh yeah, New Orleans. Excuse me. Yes, yes. I'm sorry to have offended New Orleans, Jeremy. I again apologize for what happened with my obliviousness this morning. That sweater was a choice you made. I have not seen that sweater before. I did genuinely ask you if it was a punishment of some sort you were serving.
He looks like John Travolta after he's like made the turn and he's going to prove
Yes.
to Olivia Newton-John, hey, I'm a good guy after all.
Good. That's what I want to look like. Guy's hot.
Danny Zuko.
So a reference from the 1976
He's
movie
right.
Grease.
Chris looks at the picture behind me and goes, "Boy, you look fat in that picture." It's Pat McAfee.
Before we get to some of the Miami stuff, I just did want to ask you, because I feel like Tony totally aged out on your Grease reference, and this doesn't actually happen very often with my wife, who's younger than I am. Pop culture bridges aren't a problem with us, but the other day I mentioned something, and she didn't have the context for what it was. And I mean, I'm wondering how many people in our audience don't have a familiarity with what the Harlem Globetrotters are. The reason it came up is because she was looking for something and she found that Madison Square Garden, that the Harlem Globetrotters are going to be playing Madison Square Garden. I was shocked by that as a traveling basketball circus that they still are able to command full arenas, and she thought the Harlem Globetrotters were a real team, and so I sort of had to explain to her what they were. Do you think there are many people in our audience from sports who don't know what the Harlem Globetrotters are?
My kids know who they are. I think this is a do you like sports or not? Your wife is not the biggest sports fan in the world, so I think it's understandable given the age and the lack of interest in sports. Now, older people, our generation, we remember when even if you didn't know anything about sports, there was a Harlem Globetrotters cartoon, and there was everywhere. It was everywhere as a cultural piece of
But a
Americana.
traveling circus for basketball in 2025 seems like a really outdated thing to be able to fill Madison Square Garden.
Fill is a relative term. Like, it's not going to be 19,763 or whatever the number they always tout over there, but this is the dirty secret about every arena. You have the worst thing you can have is a dark date. So they'd rather have 10,000 people show up for the Globetrotters than turn the lights off and say we didn't have anything happen today.
Remember when the Globetrotters played Michigan State?
Yes.
They lost to Michigan State.
Michigan State snapped their over 1,000-game win streak, but then in 2003, the Globetrotters beat Michigan State.
Yep.
Magic Johnson, I think, played in that game.
Dan,
Guess
how did,
for
you,
which team?
how did you explain to Valerie that the Globetrotters never lose?
Well, yeah.
They go around, but they don't lose to anybody.
Well, this sent us on a video hunt when she's like, what do you mean they don't ever lose? And I'm like, watch, these defenders are clearly in on the whole thing.
What?
The Washington Generals.
Whoa, wait a
Speaking
second.
of lying to your wife, you should have made a bet with her. Hey, I got the.
Yeah, I got the Globetrotters.
Speaking of bets, Tony, what are you leading this Sunday with a group of people? Lewis is very worried about this. Now these are stakes. These are stakes that make me uncomfortable because Lewis keeps muttering that he needs the money, and I just don't like the feeling of that around me.
I believe he said, "My kids need Christmas."
Yeah. And so this is a $5,000 bet, and you guys are on the Chiefs. The Chiefs minus 3.5 is where you got the number. I'm really scared of that half point. I'm really scared of you guys getting crushed by that half point.
That would be better, though, right? Like us getting crushed by the half point would be better content.
Well, dramatic is what we need it to be. You guys really feeling the suffering of $5,000 on the line in a game. I really think that the Broncos are going to miss Patrick Surtain the most this weekend. Like, they really need that player for this game. To be able to alter the things that Kansas City is doing. But the idea that they're calling that a must-win game for the Chiefs when people don't feel like the Chiefs have played an important regular season game in how many years?
A lot, right? And they've kind of got two back-to-back really important regular season games, especially in the AFC. You look at the AFC West this weekend with the Broncos. If they can beat the Broncos, there's a little tiny path for them to maybe sneak in and win the division. Next week, they've got the Indianapolis Colts, which is a massive game for kind of the hierarchy of the AFC in general. But yeah, Dan, Sunday afternoon, it's going to be dark though at 4:25, but we're going to be live streaming. Me, maybe Chris, Jeremy, Roy, Lewis, all of us sitting in the cheap seats, hoping and praying that the offense you said was dead will come alive one more time.
When you say the hierarchy of the AFC, okay, I believe there is not an analyst in the country, for all that we cover football, that had the Patriots as the best record in the sport this late in the season. I don't believe there's an analyst who thought, I don't believe there is a single person out there who analyzed the AFC East, said those are going to be some easy games in the AFC East, and the Patriots are going to have an MVP chant at quarterback. They're going to have the hottest young thing you want, which is the combination of they've got a 23-year-old quarterback who we know is going to be good, and they've got the wonderful delight that sports fans treasure so much is we're the surprise. We're the underdog surprise. People haven't even been talking about us all season. They've been talking about the Colts. They've been talking about the Colts as the surprise of the league, and the Patriots have the best record in the sport.
Dan, I'll do you one better. How many people had the Patriots having the best record in their division, let alone the whole sport? Like, just having a better record than the Bills.
Give me somebody who had this. Give me, for all the analysis that we do on who's a good team, who's a bad team, and we do it every week, can you guys find me somebody? Because at least I heard Dominique Foxworth saying, he'll be on with us later, before the season, hey, the Colts are going to be really good. Everyone's got this wrong on the Colts. I didn't hear anybody saying that on the Patriots, even as I heard plenty of people saying Drake May's growing as a quarterback and is going to be a good quarterback, but not MVP good. Not they're going to surprise everybody in the sport good.
I'm sorry, I found an article from NFL.com published in August by Ali Bonpuri that had them as the 2nd seed.
There you go.
New England was a very vogue pick to make the playoffs and be the team that ascends in that conference. First seed with home field advantage. Hard pressed to find anybody that said that.
You look at Drake May and what he was doing last year, and there was already kind of glimpses of, this guy can be really good if they surround him with decent pieces. And then going into the year, they didn't really make any tremendous moves on the offensive side of the ball. You look across at their weapons in the wide receiver core, and you're like, Stephon Diggs is coming off an ACL. He's okay. They got like Kayshon Boutte and Mac Hollins and Hunter Henry. And it's like, I don't know if this team can be that good on offense. And then all of a sudden, Drake May has just kind of the rising tide that's lifted all boats there, and it's just really good.
Can we call Drake May a liar, or is it too early? Too early to say that?
Which part was he lying about?
Drake May, when they asked him about like developing the chemistry with his receivers, and he said he's been watching them since he was in middle school.
Well, let's hear Drake May in his own words, because he was talking about Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is, the receiver that he's going to 100 yards for. I think a lot of us thought that Stephon Diggs was also spent. I think a lot of us thought what Tony was saying, that Mac Hollins, you're Hunter Henry. What the hell are you guys going to do with that? It's not going to be MVP chance. That's not what we're going to get. So let's hear Drake May talking about when he started developing trust with Stephon Diggs.
Is the trust that you have in Stephon Diggs something that's built up over time, or do you feel like you had that right away?
No, that trust was built up, probably when I was in middle school when he was playing in the league. It was long ago. Guys like him and Hunter and Mac, you trust those guys for what they've done in this league. And I just try to give them chances. And, Steph, and, you break a couple tackles, get in the end zone, but, those guys are great.
Chicken time!
I don't think he knows what trust is. No chance. Nowhere in the world is watching Mac when he was in middle school.
Listen to him.
This chicken is dying.
My chicken sounds
This chicken has been choked way too many times.
I think you should listen to him.
It's Friday.
His first season was in 2017, so
He's going to be watching
kind of close.
the game film.
He was 13 when he was watching Stephon Diggs. That he was 13. I don't believe that's when they developed chemistry and trust, though.
Trust is a two-way street, Dan.
There you go.
So you got to build the trust one way, right? So he's like, oh, damn, I'm 13, but wow, Stephon Diggs, good player. And then when he finally meets him, Stephon Diggs trusts the other way.
It is a two-way street. You're absolutely right. Trust is not a one-way street.
I trust you, but do you trust me, Dan?
It runs both ways. And so, at that time, Stephon Diggs was not thinking to himself, I hope this 13-year-old kid could be my quarterback. But I do believe that most people watching North Carolina football knew Drake May was a special talent. And when it is that you see Caleb Williams or others go through the bumpiness of playing right away, Drake May's arc has been a fairly amazing one in that his success has been linear. We've seen him grow. They suffered for a little while, and now the stats are, before Vrabel got there, the Patriots had won 9 times in 38 games. Now they've won 9 times since Vrabel has gotten there. Like that, they got it all fixed because they're fixed at quarterback. And we can talk about their skill guys, but that's the skill guy that matters. And to have it be a surprise from a pick like that, when we all saw that coming in college. Like, we know he's a special player, but I don't think that anyone had him taking MVP from Josh Allen in the chance. Like, I did not have that happening. Not this fast. That's not this learning curve. The numbers on Drake May are crazy. Like, he's putting up unprecedented combinations of numbers.
Yeah. Per OptaStats, and you mentioned, Dan, the versatility for Drake May. Last week, his mobility as well. Over 2,500 passing yards, over 250 rushing yards, over 20 touchdown passes, over a 70% completion percentage, over an 800 winning percentage. No other quarterback in NFL history has put up those numbers over any 11-game span of starts in any season in NFL history.
I don't think this is that surprising. It's Mike Vrabel and Drake May. A lot of people rated both those guys super highly. This is what Mike Vrabel does. I don't, for the life of me, Tennessee's a freaking mess. Terrible decision. You have the greatest underdog head coach ever, and you have a guy that was dynamite in college. This makes sense. This makes all the sense in the world, actually.
But the thing is, to Dan's point of the speed of it, they lost to the Raiders on opening day. And the Raiders are terrible, right? Like, you look and you juxtapose the two ways that both of those teams have gone. And at the beginning of the season, you're like, oof, all right, Braves is going to get off to a rough start losing to a Raiders team that maybe could be good. And now we look at them, and they've won 8 out of those.
Yeah, but Mike says it's not a surprise. And look, the Dolphins came very close to beating them. And at the time when we were talking about what the assessments of the teams were, the Dolphins were viewed as a team that should win that game against the Patriots at home. And while you're right about the reputations of Drake May and Vrabel, it's 2 consecutive 4-13 seasons, and that's the MVP of the league that's been at the top of the division for a while. It's one thing to think that the Patriots are going to be the 2 seed or they're going to be good. It's another thing entirely to say, whoa, the moment they beat the Bills, did they just take the division from the Bills? Because everyone around here is saying now the window's closed on the Bills. So the Patriots get 2 years of suffering while the Dolphins get 22? The Patriots get 2 years of suffering after Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, and the Dolphins in the same division get 22 years of suffering and now ship off one of their home games to Spain or somewhere else so those xenophobes can enjoy them not playing in Miami.
A handful of people said the window's closed on the Bills. A handful of us think that's absurd.
I saw just on the television moments ago that bettors are saying the Bills are still top 5 in terms of how it is that the money goes, that viewed as one of the top 5.
That's a youth thing, too. You got to expect, like, there's an ascension here that comes with this Patriots team and Drake May. Yes, this is a great start. You're going to be really important in this conference for a decade, but this takes time. They are a flawed team. Put a little bit more talent around the quarterback. In the playoffs, like, we know the Bills are going to be favored. Not that that matters. They were favored when they played New England earlier this season, but these typically don't go the way where second-year guy just claims the conference from both Mahomes and
my larger point is because of the way the Patriots are playing football through, as you correctly identify, coach and quarterback. The streak they've put together is unusual of number of times they've gone over 23 points and number of times the defense has held opponents under 23 points. So what they are is a balanced thing. In that Raiders game that Tony talked about, they lost 20-10. Since then, all they do is put up 20 plus, and they just don't allow teams to score very much. So they have the balance that you want that is really hard to undercut. I understand that anyone that goes against the Chiefs and the Bills and the Ravens probably are going to feel like an underdog. You're not going to trust any of those teams until you've seen them get past the teams that you have seen do it. But they're way ahead of schedule. There's supposed to be a suffering process that lasts more than 2 years before you get to just take the division back. It took the Bills 17 years to take the division from the Patriots.
I think when you look at it from a conference perspective, like, one quarterback can say they took it from Patrick Mahomes, and it's Joe Burrow. Like, he's until proven otherwise, they run shit.
But you look at, too, on the other side of the conference in the NFC, Jaden Daniels was a rookie, and all of a sudden completely barnstormed through everybody in the NFC, got to the Lions, who were one of the better teams in the NFC, Super Bowl hopefuls, and destroyed them too. Obviously ended up losing to Philly, but that's another team that was like out of nowhere, boom, coach, quarterback, everything linked up, and obviously this year they've been hurt, but that's kind of another example.
Oh, but here's the thing, though, and I'm sure that this is happening to others. This is not just happening to me. That Washington thing happens and then collapses, and I'm less surprised by it than I would be if it happened in these uniforms. There's something about seeing this running around throughout my football nightmares for 20 years, owning the sport, where I'm like, oh, that's not going to have a regression. That's not going to have a quarterback who goes the other way. Maybe he gets hurt, but it's not going to. He's not going to suddenly be C.J. Stroud. He's not going to go from MVP chance to what happened to C.J. Stroud. Like, they have the organizational infrastructure. The Gerard Mayo hire was a disaster, okay, and they got out from under it. He's the guy who came after the guy, and so for 2 years he takes the beating. But Vrabel's already won as much in 11 games as they won in the 38 before that. That's crazy.
I think Mayo might have just had 1 year. It's crazy. The Dolphins did nothing with like the 3.5 years Osim was down.
They didn't do nothing. Like, they had the best offense in the sport. It just they couldn't play in the cold.
Are we sure that there's no regression possible, that it's just going to be up and up and up forever?
I'm just saying that I don't expect to see it in that uniform. I've got whatever the post-traumatic football fans' feelings are on that uniform does things successfully for 20 years. That organization isn't going to screw up that they've got the young quarterback.
How much legacy is pulled over? How many of the people that were around for the dominance are around now?
I can't be the only one doing that, right? I'm not the only one. When I tell you that and I say, what do you expect from this? Like, all of you look at what happened in Washington. You may be surprised. Maybe you're surprised that it has collapsed because you expected Jaden Daniels to be as good. But having seen it happen in Houston and Washington, I feel comfortable based on just the uniform saying it's not going to happen here. There's not going to be a regression here at this position. Maybe he gets hurt, but he's playing in a way that's all up. It's upticking at the normal amount of speed. The thing with Jaden Daniels that I didn't understand and still don't understand is how the hell do you come in the league and be that good right away? Like, that's not that somebody has to learn that position. You can't just come in here and be immediately great and your team wins 11 or 12 games. And I'm like, how the hell did that happen? This has been the way the progression's supposed to work. I watch a first-round pick get sacked, develop pocket presence, and all of a sudden, oh my God, the feel that he has in the pocket, he knows exactly when to run. He's done it enough now through college and the pros where this is only going to be ascent from here. Where's it going to get worse? They're going to get him better skill guys. They're going to build around him and the running game. They're going to get draft picks that make sure that support all the things that he does well outside of him getting hurt. Where does this derail?
So Elliot Wolf is the executive VP of player personnel. He's the final decision maker. He joined, 2 years ago. Then Ryan Cowden joined them from the Giants this season. And then Matt Groh, who's been there a couple of years as well. I would say that this organization, other than Robert Kraft.
Well, Vrabel, though. Vrabel's a bridge between all of these things, though.
Sure, but then we're giving the credit to Vrabel. And, if that's the case, then why wasn't he more successful in prior stops?
Because he's got a better quarterback now than he's ever had.
My point is, Dan, I don't think you could say that organization when it's like nobody there was around other than Vrabel, and it's not like that information traveled with him. It's not like San Antonio or Miami where it's like, nope, it's the same people the last 25 years running it. I'm more inclined to believe that organization in terms of giving them trust. In this case, I feel like they just got a good quarterback, and for now it's working, but I wouldn't afford them any kind of extra trust.
I mean, I don't know about that because when you talk about Vrabel, he's the culture setter, right? Tennessee was a laughingstock before he got there. He got there, all of a sudden they went to AFC Championship games. He leaves there, now they're a number one pick laughingstock again, right? So he takes all of that culture setting, players coach, all those things.
And Josh McDaniels has been the play caller successfully there before.
That's an important piece too, right? Like working with a guy who's been a seasoned veteran offensive coordinator who's worked with Brady, who's worked with great quarterbacks.
This is why people criticize the Dayball hire or firing, because they're saying you need consistency in the relationship between Jackson Dart, the young quarterback, and he's got to feel like he's got stability behind him. This is why I think the Bears thing is going to work so well, because you're going to get the growth from a young quarterback who has the confidence and security of the young coach who has stability behind him. Before we do any more pro football, though, Louisville plays Clemson tonight, and Mike is now just watching football games, rooting for things that help Miami. I feel like that's all you're doing.
Yes, I'm rooting for my team.
But tonight you're rooting. You will watch this Louisville game because at this point you're watching in order to just see bowling pins toppled that help support Miami's case. Now I want to hear, Chris, what is the name of this CFB chairman who is speaking here and is talking about the University of Miami's chances and the idea of Miami controlling its destiny because they look at schedule, not conferences. Mike has been telling you for a while now. I don't know how much of this is happening nationally because I still hear Feinbaum ignorantly talking about the University of South Florida as if he thinks the SEC is some mystical special thing that doesn't allow for other schools outside the SEC to have talented players that are just as talented as the ones in the SEC. But I feel like all of the shine is off the SEC, that we all know that Texas and Oklahoma, oh my God, they were going to go over there and make it so good. No, they're just running around in uniforms that you expect to be good, but they're not appreciably better than 30 other teams that you've seen in the sport this year. Louisville, I thought, could beat just about anybody. But they lost to California when they got injuries, and injuries can derail anybody. They shouldn't have and wouldn't have lost to California if not for the injuries. But you can't trust Clemson to take them out tonight, can you?
It's a tiny spread, and Louisville just lost as a 20-point favorite to Cal without Isaac Brown. So Isaac Brown is a hugely important player for them. He's a big-time threat. And the ACC, it's tough in this conference. I know it's viewed as a punchline when other conferences beat each other up. It's not viewed the same way. Dabo's teams, whenever they meet this adversity over the last few seasons, they tend to really get online at the later part of the season. So I'm curious. I certainly want Clemson to win. You can already kind of see what the committee is doing with Miami, Louisville, and Notre Dame. Miami's head-to-head argument against Notre Dame, it loses a lot of its luster if Miami is ranked ahead of Louisville when Louisville defeated them. So you want Louisville out of the way.
We have the CFP committee chair, Mac Rhodes, talking about where Miami stands right now with the committee.
Miami, I think, Reese, you said it, we had some teams lose. And again, the conversation with Miami has been, about their consistency especially on offense. They've been really, really good, on defense. Obviously, the head-to-head with Notre Dame comes up, and so a lot of conversation about Notre Dame, 7 straight, better defensively than what they were at the beginning of the year. So all of those things played into it. We've got great respect for Miami. When you think about the eye test, they're really talented, both sides of the ball. Just need to be a little bit more consistent on the offense.
I'm sorry, you said his name was Macro?
Mac Rhodes.
Oh. I was like, Macro, that's a great name.
All it took was 1 week in college football. November's kind of crazy. And there's a lot of discourse about Miami's offense. Miami's offense this season has a legitimate shot to be the second best offense they've had in the last 20 years. It's just behind De'Ara King and Rhett Lashley's Miami offense. That kind of fell apart towards the tail end of the season.
Who could forget?
De'Ara King was pretty good. He was. That was fun. He was. And then Javonte Williams and Michael Carter ran each for 200 yards against Miami.
I think one of them ran for 300.
Yeah.
When you look, you were making the Kash Patel face for some reason while that conversation was going on. I just can't believe that we are headed to the possible scenario that I'm about to put in front of you, which is Notre Dame and Miami have the same record. Miami beats Notre Dame, but Notre Dame losing to Miami gets them more credit than Miami gets for beating Notre Dame. That's crazy.
You got it.
But that is it, that we are headed to them having the same exact record. And
it will kill me.
Mike's gonna have a stroke.
I will die. I will have an aneurysm.
So Miami wins the game against Notre
It's
Dame,
not fair. This is
but
ridiculous.
that doesn't count for anything. But congratulations, Notre Dame. You lost a close game to Miami. You get to play in the playoffs. You did it early enough in the season that it doesn't matter at all. We're going to penalize Miami for beating you by not giving them any credit for this whatsoever when they have the same record as you. But Notre Dame, hell of a loss. Way to go. We're all about Notre Dame.
But I think it goes back to kind of like quality losses. Like Notre Dame lost to a good Miami team. Miami lost to,
and they also lost to Texas
SMU,
A&M, right? Like they lost the other loss. It's not the head-to-head. It's the other loss.
Bad losses undo good wins.
Yes.
Mike is going to die.
All right, shut up. Losing to SMU is not a bad loss. You know how many losses SMU has in the ACC since they entered?
3?
1.
Well, that's in the ACC.
1. They have 1 loss. They were 11-1 last year. They were a CFP team. That's not a bad loss. Shut the fuck up.
Wait. I thought you said
Number
last
2,
year doesn't count.
Louisville is presently ranked.
Number 2.
Number 2, Louisville is presently ranked. It's not a bad loss. Shut up.
The reason
God.
the reason
Fuck almighty.
The reason it is a bad loss, Mike. The only reason
Because Miami did it. It's because Miami lost. It's because Miami lost. It's a bad loss.
I'm glad we're still being reasonable 2 weeks later.
Texas losing to Florida, not a bad loss. Not a bad loss.
The reason
Mike jumped on me last week because I mentioned something that happened a season ago. Oh, do you know how seasons work? Now it's like,
the reason it is a bad loss. Okay, Mike.
Do it in the SEC. USF went there. Texas couldn't.
I'm going to try and fail probably to remove some of the emotion from this. The only reason that they are bad losses is because in both games, Miami was a double-digit favorite. In both of the games. I understand what you're saying, that Miami is absolutely being punished for raising the level of expectations to where Miami teams were in the past. But when you lose as a double-digit dog,
they weren't a double-digit favorite against SMU. The line fell to 8.5 right before kickoff.
Yeah, Dan.
Alabama loses as a double-digit favorite.
Point
all
and
the
a half,
time.
Dan.
Just, pick up a paper.
What do you want me to do?
Pick up a paper.
Pick up a paper. Okay, all right. So a newspaper or just
they lost as a double-digit favorite. Teams lose as a double-digit favorite all the time. It's just
well, Notre Dame has not. Yeah. Notre Dame has
They
not.
lost. They lost. They played a game. Notre Dame was favored. They lost.
Double digit?
But not as a double-digit favorite.
Oh my God.
They were an underdog in both the games.
What would happen if Notre Dame played Miami? I don't know. If only I had recent history to go off
That was a
of.
long time ago, though.
Lots
Lots changed.
Notre Dame would be favored. Notre Dame would be favored if they played Miami. They were favored in the last week of August, and they lost. And Miami controlled that game.
That opening drive of the second half.
Oh, Dan, that opening drive of the second half,
drive.
man. Moving the pile. That's just... Why play anybody non-conference? They played Notre Dame, USF, Florida. Beat them. They have difficulty in their conference because it's a tough conference for Miami. They've been to the ACC championship as many times as Notre Dame has. Okay? They've lost 4 games in the last 2 seasons, none of them by over a score.
Notre Dame's losses are to Miami and by 1 point to the number 3 team in the nation. Miami's 2 losses are to the 20th ranked team in the country and an unranked team.
That has to mean something.
It does.
What is SMU's record?
We were just told that it's about the resume.
Yeah.
And the resume, while a better win, obviously, for Miami, beating Notre Dame.
Sure.
If the entire premise is wins and losses don't matter.
Yeah.
We're looking at the resumes and deciding who the best teams are.
Who is it?
It becomes Notre Dame.
Okay.
Not based
There
off
you
my
go.
logic, based off the logic
Why?
the CFP has
Why?
shown you for
Why?
over a decade.
Why?
Methodology is
Why? Because they
shown.
beat USC? Because they beat USC? Let's flip the resumes. Let's have Miami lose to Notre Dame by the same amount, and let's have them lose to Florida by the same amount. Notre Dame's still going to be ranked ahead of Miami. Let's have Miami win that Louisville game. Louisville and USC are ranked right around the same place. Notre Dame has played 3 teams that in their conference are a combined 0-18. They're not actually beat. They're just winning games, and people are forgetting that they could be beat.
If I flipped the resumes, you'd be making the opposite argument. So you better shape up.
I would not. You shape up. Don't tell me to shape up. You shape up.
He's got to shape up.
That's
I've got
hey,
to hold a piece of
everybody, meet my
paper.
friend Jack Shit.
He needs a man.
Better shape up.
Yeah, there you go. He gets the reference.
The thing that is funniest to me is I genuinely believe that Notre Dame with 2 losses should be ranked as the number 1 team in the country because the most impressive thing done by anyone this season is Notre Dame came close to beating Texas A&M. That they should get more credit for that than Texas A&M gets for winning that game. Notre Dame should get more credit for losing the game than Texas A&M.
So dumb. This is
This is not new. This is
all stupid.
This isn't new. Why are you surprised?
They played. they played a football game.
It's not the first time this has happened.
They played each other.
I'm with Dan. I like this. You should get more credit for almost winning.
They look great against Navy.
Than you do for
The committee.
Boy, they took it to Purdue.
The committee should make Notre Dame favored against Ohio State because did you see how close they came to beating Texas A&M? So close that I think they're better than Texas
Imagine if
A&M.
Miami had a close loss to Notre Dame.
Whole thing is insane. Thank God Miami
imagine
lost their
that?
dumb one earlier because they actually have a chance now. Because if they lost their dumb one at the last game of the season like they did last year, they wouldn't have had a shot.
This part's great, right? Chris Cody looking up, okay? Everyone's talking, droning. College football head committee member is droning. And Chris Cody's just saying, it was a long time ago they beat Notre Dame. I don't remember that long. It's the gummies.
On this episode of the Alley Oop, what was this guy thinking when he pulled up in a t-shirt with a butt plug on it at the ALCS, Juju?
All that and more.
More fans running on the court. Plug in.
Seriously, get over yourself. We're
Chris
going
said
to
it.
talk during the post game. Tim Reynolds,
Fine.
enough. Enough.
You just got to know when
You're
the
not
Dan
allowed to cheer in the press box. Did you know that?
Well, I did.
They were cheering for Will Manso. I think that's allowed.
And Goldie.
If the Dan Le Batard Show comes to a hockey press box, hilarity is going to ensue.
Yeah.
They're going to yell at Will Manso for 7 minutes, and you're probably going to have to go to a
7
stairwell to
seconds.
write, man.
If it was 7 minutes, I'd get it.
It
was
is what
7
it is.
seconds.
Exactly. David, everyone else was saying hi. They were enjoying the show. They were laughing at us. But one guy is still clutching on to his newspaper deadline.
I'm a little
and it's
disappointed.
Tim Reynolds.
And is he your demographics, too?
I don't know.
I happen to like Tim a lot, and
Enough of him.
I imagine this was going to be like E.J. Raddick or something, but that's just a bad look for Tim Reynolds.
Listen,
Yeah,
I went
I
up
do
to him
appreciate
afterwards.
This was the best part. Stugotz
Yes.
is like, I've known Tim for years. I'm going to go fix this. He walked to Tim and walked right back very quickly.
Yep.
It was a very quick interaction.
Well, he was writing. Okay?
He's on deadline. It's
Enough of the deadline.
It's a
We're
work.
on deadline, Tim. We're on deadline. I gotta get home. I feel like playing off hockey. I gotta get home.
Yeah, we're on deadline too. We got to get that post game out.
It is a working press box. Tim Reynolds is a journalist who's trying to write, and Stugotz is back there. Hey, Will Manso!
That was Chris and Goldie. Don't leave out Goldie.
We're on deadline too. They're going to kick us out of that press box a lot sooner than they'll kick out Tim Reynolds, who's just typing away. That's just
Those writers had their game stories done before the end of the
Precisely.
Yeah, a good writer, right?
Oh,
What happened there? I apologize to him. I've known Tim for decades. Cody was done. He was out of there.
What was that interaction like, Stugotz? Take us behind the scenes. You walk up to him, you say what, he says what.
I said, Tim, I apologize. That's on me. I should know better. Not Chris, okay? I should know better. I've been in press boxes before. I know you have a deadline. I apologize. And he said, that's fine. Just, try to keep it down.
That is way too long.
That was
Way
much
too
longer
long.
than the actual
He's on
conversation.
deadline.
I always extend it a little bit.
Can we
you guys know that.
call Tim Reynolds and just ask him about what the
Don't,
interaction was
no,
like?
no.
Greg Cody's back in my day. Seeds.
Seeds. Seeds. Had a slice of watermelon lately? Popped a few grapes in your maw? Then you probably notice seeds are disappearing from fruit. And you probably see this as a good thing just because it makes life a little easier. We love us some convenience. In fact, it's a terrible thing, the de-seeding of us. Symbolically alone, the seed is the king of life. Adam gave his to Eve, and here we are. if you believe the story. If they take the seed out of humans the way we have watermelons, we're all dead ducks. Beans, peas, rice, coffee, corn, all seeds. Flour and oil started as seeds. All hail seeds. So what the hell is happening? In exchange for convenience, we are not valuing the seed's impact on health, biodiversity, and our food system. The genetic variability of most plants require seeds as essential to their evolution. De-seeded, artificially homogenized fruits rely on human intervention in the reproductive process, exposing the fruits to many pathogens. Plainly put, seedless fruits are not as good for you. They contain less fiber and have fewer minerals and vitamins than their seeded natural brethren. Seedless fruits also have fewer...
Hey, yo, this episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Let's play for Dominique Foxworth some sound here of a Chiefs fan ripping Josh Allen. Always funny when old people rip athletes, I feel like. Let's see what we got here.
Buffalo defense.
Ned hit Josh Allen in the nuts.
Coming into this.
If he has any.
With all of its injuries.
Deck his ass.
Shakir.
Chicken shit, you ran out of bounds.
60-yard boot.
Deck his ass.
Hell yeah.
Chicken shit.
Punch him in the nuts if he's got any.
She knows ball.
Balls?
And balls, yes. Drake May appears to have taken the top of the division. Did you hear from anybody, Dominique, before the season? You told us the Colts were going to be good. Did you hear from anybody before the season that would have predicted 11 games in that the Patriots would have the best record in the sport?
Absolutely not. I think we thought the O-line would take more time to come together, and we thought Drake May was a good quarterback, but not develop into the guy that he is now. But and the defense still, as good as it's played, they still have some shortcomings. They give up big plays every now and then, a little more often than you would like. But Mike Vrabel's done something special there really quickly. And I know that you're going to call me out for just when you can't explain something, say the coaching just did it, but I can't explain it. So I guess maybe it's the coaches. The only thing that we don't understand fully.
Dominique, is it possible to build chemistry with someone by watching them on TV when you were in middle school?
I missed something. Obviously, I missed something. I haven't listened to the show.
Drake May was asked when he started trusting Stephon Diggs, and he said when he started watching him when he was 13 in middle school.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say hell no, but I guess in that case, I was like you, Dan. I had to sound off last night. Is that something they said in the broadcast or something?
Post-game interview.
It's it's something Drake was saying. We pulled the Kentucky Fried Chickens on him because we don't. Tony said correctly that trust is a two-way street.
It's not when you want somebody to get open. So like I feel like in that case, trusting the receiver is about knowing that he's going to be open and knowing he's going to catch the ball. It's definitely don't you have any athletes that you trust? Do you not trust Patrick Mahomes? Never met him. Trust him at the end of a game. You don't ask Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I wouldn't ask.
You just literally made my point, Dominique. I don't know Patrick Mahomes, but I trust him. Drake May, who's 13 years old,
not a two-way street.
Okay, but my point is this: the two-way street is later. You were here in the segment. I already explained it. So not you, Dominique. Hold on a second. So Drake May in middle school is watching Stephon Diggs get open on everybody. Right? He trusts him from that angle of like, oh, if I know one thing, Stephon's going to get open if he's running a 15-yard out. Right? Yeah. Now the second part of the trust is Stephon Diggs meets Drake May. I trust that Drake May from throwing me the ball in practice. Now the trust is a two-way street. I trust him now.
Trust that he's not going to throw me into getting hit or anything.
Exactly.
So I feel like, is Tony the only one who believes that this is possible? Because I gotta be honest, Tony. I love you. Don't like my company. I don't like if everybody else everyone else in there, Amin and Dan and Chris and Mike and everyone else.
Cowards are all cowards that don't want to speak up, is what it is.
This is nonsense. I think you're right. I agree with you, but I'm gonna have to rethink it before I fully commit. We gotta win some other people over. I mean, I think it's a responsible thing to do.
Dominique, are the Packers unserious or are they just too hurt?
Unserious. Unfortunately, I think the answer is that they are currently an unserious outfit because it's not one thing. Like if it was just they're too hurt at the offensive line and that was the problem, that's one thing. They're just too hurt at the receivers and that was the problem, that's another thing. They're having pre-snap penalties on big important downs and their quarterback occasionally throws back across his body into the chest of a defender. It's just a bunch of different things. And that's the part that makes him feel unserious. Like, it feels better when there's one thing you can point to, like, this is when this guy comes back, or if we can correct this thing. Part of their problem, and I guess it could give you some optimism if you are a Packers fan, is like, we can put all these things to the side. But their problem is, I don't know exactly how to fix what's wrong with them, because every game, or even in the course of the Eagles game, there are a number of different problems, and they were all different throughout the course of the game on offense.
But you don't think they win that game if Jaden Reed is simply out there? Because that is a huge absence for them. When anything breaks down, when Love needs to make a play, he looks for Jaden Reed, and he's been out since week 2.
Yeah, I'm sure that would help. But, I mean, they lost to the Panthers and they lost to the Browns also. So, like, that's part of the problem for me. Is it's not just – I think we can get away with small sample size explaining away a bad performance for a lot of teams in this league. But the sample size isn't that small for their offense underachieving. And like, games that they should play better. And, like, I would be fine if this Eagles game popped up if we didn't have those other games to point back to and say, yeah, their offense is kind of inconsistent and doesn't show up when they need them most.
You mentioned pre-snap penalties, and I was railing about this earlier in the week in the way that Tom Coughlin might, but I really want an answer from you on this. If my team is at home, given the military complex of the week of preparation that is football, if I'm playing at home, is it my reasonable right as a coach to believe that the entirety of the season, not a single one of my players will ever false start at home when they come out of the huddle because they've been told what the snap count is and they should know the snap count?
This is absolutely unreasonable. I heard you doing this rant earlier, and I get where you come from, but it's spoken by like someone who never put their hand in the dirt. Like, you got to put your hand in the dirt. Can you imagine the number of things? And Dan, you of all people, I think you appreciate the intelligence that it requires to play this game.
None of the other things do I have to remember if I don't remember the first thing. If I get the first thing wrong, all the other things I have to remember become irrelevant. I feel there must be offensive linemen throughout the sport who have never had a false start penalty, who have had 10-year careers without having a false start. There must be.
Possibly, maybe. I strongly doubt that there's a starting offensive lineman that's had a 10-year career and never jumped off sides. But I think you're right. And part of the problem, or part of the reason why it happens, is because it's so obvious and so easy. And it's so, like, run-of-the-mill. It's not the thing that you're thinking about when you approach the line and you see a super athlete trying to rush you, and there's a motion that you have to be aware of, and you got to check the protection, and the defense is shifting. And in your mind, this is the biggest third down of the game. It might tilt the balance of your career, and you're in a contract year. Then you move. And it's like, I don't understand how you don't see how this is possible that you could overlook something so obvious.
Because the is to fool them. They told me in the huddle what that was. They told me.
But Dan, you never put your hand in the dirt, though. That's the issue. You're having this conversation.
I was too busy holding a piece of paper in the air.
Can we get just like a small, like, mason jar of dirt so Dan can stick his hand in it and see if he feels the same about this BS ass take after he does? You just gotta feel the dirt. It'll help you understand.
You've never seen Myles Garrett on the other side.
Did you get an offsides penalty the entirety of your career? Were you playing bump and run, and did you ever jump off sides?
No, like, it's impossible for me to jump off sides.
He's 9 yards away.
If he did, I'd be impressed.
Yeah, I would blitz every occasion from the corner spot, but I would wait and react, or from the nickel or something like that. And even in high school, in college, I never really jumped offside. Did I have other stupid penalties on occasion? Yeah, those things happen because you're thinking about 100 other things.
I can't find anything on pre-snap penalties, but Zach Martin retired never having held. Over 6,600 snaps.
A corner jumping offside is especially
Dog,
stupid.
that would be amazing. I'd love to see that.
I mean, the quick jam, like, that could potentially happen if you're doing a quick jam, but that's really unlikely.
Think about the quarterback's cadence. For him to get the cornerback? What happened? Offside? Damn.
So if it happened to somebody, what you would say, well, he was thinking about so many other things. He's got so many other responsibilities that he has to be thinking of.
Dad, you never forget to unload the dishwasher? You never forgot to do something around the house that is obvious and simple?
Not Dan.
Dad's never made a mistake. He never forget anything.
Dan
it's just a steel trap.
It's not a mistake. They told me in the huddle when we were going. They told me.
I told you to do the dishes.
I listened to this show for decades. You messed up your own name one time, Dan. Shut the hell up. Like, your brain is not so much better than everyone else's. I understand how ridiculous it is, but it doesn't happen that often. There's not a ton of false starts because the hard count got guys, but occasionally it's going to happen.
I don't think I messed up my own name. When did I mess up my own name?
If you had to bet.
Hey, Dan, the fact that you can't remember it, case in point. Steel trap? Nah, that is a wood trap you got up there now, man.
Mike Ryan is always criticizing various forms of my text behavior. Why did he include you on a group text with 30 people you do not know?
I love it. Mike is such a good guy. I was talking about tennis, and he has a tennis group chat.
Yeah.
And so I got in a tennis group chat, and I want to engage. Like, I don't want to be a bad texter. I've been working on getting better at it. However, I don't know nobody, so I don't know how to act. Like, oh yeah, I say it's you. It's like 3 people in there that I know, and so I got jokes that I want to say. I was like, I don't know if I get. It's just a bunch of the phone numbers come up. It's a bunch of strangers from all over the country talking about tennis, and I can't really fully engage because I don't know who these people are. I don't want them to think I'm crazy because what I would say if it was just me, Mike, and Amin would be very different than what I would say depending on who's in the chat.
Dominique, I'll back you up on this one because I think John Isner is in it, and I made some sort of like to hell with Georgia remark, and I don't think he took it well. I was like, I thought we were all like chummy here.
Exactly. I didn't know John Isner was in there. Now I'm definitely not going to share my bullshit tennis opinions with a professional tennis player. Now, I don't know anything.
So you don't know how to act here? Amin is acting the way that he always acts, but you simply don't know how to act.
I had to pull back because I thought I could act the way I always act, and then like I didn't get a warm response. I was like, oh, okay. It's kind of party.
I also, I don't know. I don't want to get into that situation because I had a couple jokes pop up, and then there are some people who are freewheeling. They send some things that they feel confident about, and I'm like, can I like this? I want them to know that this is safe, but I also don't want anybody else to think I'm on this team if this is the wrong place. You can't act the same way at work as you do amongst your friends.
Amin was right earlier in the show when I was saying I don't expect Patriots regression from Drake May. And he's saying, well, what carryover is there from you thinking this organization has been good for 20 years? And what I'm waving around is that, per Doug Clawson, year 2 quarterbacks with 200-plus passing yards in each of the first 11 games of a season. The list is 2018 Patrick Mahomes, MVP. 1984, Dan Marino, MVP, 2025 Drake May. Like, that's the list of people.
Oh, did you just mess up a year? How could you mess up the year? It's the year that we're in right now.
He didn't forget it. He merely misspoke. But Dominique, I guess my point was Dan was saying we're not going to see any regression from Drake May, and I said, well, what proof is that? He's like, well, because the organization. I said, Dan, most of the people working there weren't there from when they were dominant previously. I mean, there's a couple of people.
Yeah, but not just the organization. Also, year 2 quarterbacks don't have this kind of pocket presence.
He's great. I'm just saying this game has a way of figuring people out, of bringing it back down to earth. I remember there's a point when you guys were swooning over Justin Herbert, and yeah, he's still great, but it's not like what you were talking about in his first or second year. And so, Dominique, is it possible that like, can you not unequivocally, but can you confidently say, no, it's smooth sailing from here on out?
I think the Patriots are going to be good offensively for 10 years if he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you guys are saying 2 different things. I think that what you can say about the Patriots for the rest of Drake May's healthy career, you can probably pretty confidently say they're going to be pretty good. But, I mean, those names that you mentioned, Patrick Mahomes stands out. Like, he's had some years, and that offense just as recent as last year and part of this year have had some pretty rough runs right there. So I think, is he going to be this level of quarterback all the time? Of course not. He's going to have some years where things don't work out the way that he plans, be it injuries or his own decision-making. Things will change, but I think it's pretty fair to say that he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league for years to come, and the Patriots are safe there.
So a C.J. Stroud type thing is never going to happen to him.
I mean, I would say that the thing that's happened to C.J. Stroud is part C.J. Stroud, but mostly they won't protect my man. And so I think if you put C.J. Stroud in a slightly better situation and his receivers can stay healthy, I think C.J. Stroud, you see it. And to be honest, C.J. Stroud's first year, we were raving about how impressive he was because it was relative to our expectations for him. Like, if you go back and look at the stats from that season, it wasn't all that great. Like it was good, and he was attacking deep downfield. He was playing in a way that we didn't expect, and we were like projecting he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league based on what we were seeing. But in that year, I think his QBR was like in the 60s like the 60s or high 50s. It wasn't like he was in the 80s balling out the way Drake May is right now.
The Giants seem to have a young quarterback at a desirable contract, and they have young skill guys that are hurt. But what do you do with that head coach vacancy if you're the New York Giants?
I mean, I think the obvious trap is to go try to find the best offensive mind, and we underappreciate the minds of defensive coaches. I think you can see a lot of the best head coaches in football right now came from the defensive side of the ball. Of course, there's some good offensive coaches also, but I think given the last several years, 10 years or so of Giants football has kind of been disjointed and like unorganized, I think they need to hire somebody who can kind of get the whole organization in alignment, which is weird because they kept Joe Shane, who he's not incentivized to hire somebody who has the track record or the power or the know-how to take over an entire organization because he's the general manager. He doesn't want to give up any of that power. So there's some complications there with the ownership group that might make it more difficult, but I don't think that they should focus on a hire that's only for the quarterback.
Dominique, Dart has been in concussion protocol 4 times already. Ooh. He's diagnosed with 1 against the Bears, but he's been protocol 4 times. How would you, if you were the Giants, protect him for the rest of the season? Because the last thing we want is another tool on our hands.
Yeah, I think that he obviously needs to protect himself. And I think implicit in your question is like, would you sit him out or would you play him? It's like, no, I think I would definitely play him. Like he needs the reps. He needs to learn. And these are lower stakes situations. And I think that's part of what he needs to understand is in the course of a game, if it's 1st and 10 in the second quarter, we don't need like Super Bowl John Elway helicopter dives. And I understand he thinks he is bringing some energy to this team and setting the tempo, and you'll see Patrick Mahomes do stuff like this at times too. But I think he needs this experience to understand. Even in that game, we saw Caleb had a few big runs early in the game. He slides later in the game. He's diving for the goal line. Like I think understanding the situation is more important for him, and you're not going to be able to demonstrate that unless you get him out on the field.
I have yet to locate Dan screwing up his own name, but I did find multiple examples of him screwing up other names. We start with John Mulaney.
Who is the comedian? Is it James Mulvaney?
COVID. Dominique. Go ahead, Dan.
No,
you want to defend yourself, Dan?
Not defend myself. That sentence represents me looking in the mirror and recognizing in the middle of the pandemic I've descended into old age. Comedian, is it James Mulvaney? It's the moment that I put the tombstone on. That's where it is that I got old.
It wasn't. It wasn't James Mulvaney. In your defense, you were just asking the question.
Did you like mess his name up like 3 more times in that same little block? They're like, I think Chris was taking it easy. If I remember correctly, you couldn't get it at all. Like you needed Mike to come in and save you.
We've got a bunch of big games here on the slate for Sunday.
4 big games.
Dominique, which big game is the biggest of the big games?
Big game.
Rams. Oh, that's a Zaslow, right? We get a big game.
Hey, that's my bit.
Tell that man to get some clothes. Show his wife some respect. Don't
That's
go
what
on
I was trying to tell him.
In a wrestling shirt, man.
That's what I tried to tell him. He needs to go like the ones that we had, like the knit shirt with some linen pants.
Get a little sexy.
Yeah. You do not want to see Zaslow in a knit shirt.
I want Tony to dress Zaslow.
I do.
I want to do this.
The problem with that is, or I think Zaslow, what he doesn't understand is he's created such a low expectation that he would kill if he just popped out one night. People like me and Tony that's fly all the time, like, I don't get no extra points when I fly. My wife is just like, yeah, you're supposed to be fly. That's how you are. But Zaz has created such a low bar, all that man got to do is put on a button. Just one button. Get you a polo with one damn button. And she going to be like, oh, my gosh, she going to do the special thing that you love, Zaz. But anyway, the Rams and the Seahawks, that's the game to me. Like, that seems like those are the best 2 teams in the NFC right now, and 2 of the teams that seem to have the fewest weaknesses of anybody in the NFL. I think when you look at their track record, one of the problems with a lot of the teams in football right now is they don't have a lot of great, really impressive wins, and that's in part because there aren't a lot of great teams to beat. But whoever wins that game, and it's another test for Sam Darnold, who he had a couple bad games against the Rams in recent history, and a couple bad games in bid situations. So we're going to be looking forward to seeing how he performs in that game. So yeah, that's the biggest of the bigs to me.
Dan screws up the Bear, Chris Felica.
Chris Fallick.
It was penis related too.
Chris Fallick.
He's in the tennis chat.
You said about a month ago, before I heard anyone else saying it, that Smith and Jigba is the best receiver in the sport. And then I look up every time in the second quarter, and it's 4 catches for 82 yards. Everyone knows the ball's going to him, and no one can stop it. It feels like Justin Jefferson.
Nah, he feels – it's funny because nothing about his play, jumps out the way that you see Justin Jefferson. But then if you watch him very, closely, you'll see the nuances in his route running, and you see the way that he finds the holes and zones. He's kind of a technician in that way. But he's still – what shocks me is without having explosive, crazy, crazy speed, he is the best deep ball player in football so far this year. And I think we get enamored. I'm a sucker for this, especially around draft time, is with the numbers, the big numbers, guys who run fast, guys who are really tall and who look good in their uniform and have put up ridiculous stats in college, and forget that there's so many other things about the game that I think can work out. And you get in a good situation like he's in with that quarterback, Sam Darnold, right now. He's, to me at least, right now, the best receiver in the league.
What you're saying there, does it have any precedent for you guys when you think off the top of your head? Best deep threat in the sport. Not that fast.
Jerry Rice.
Not that fast. That's it. Jerry Rice is absolutely a great example.
I would say Mike Evans too. Good deep threat, not that fast.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to make it seem like he's slow. It's just when you think of the deep threat, you think of somebody like Xavier Worthy, right? Who's setting records, flying back. Rashid Shaheed, who they just grabbed on the Seahawks also. Those guys that are just running past people. But yeah.
See, Jerry Rice, while obviously, no question, great, everyone says best receiver ever, it's a consensus thing. It's not, let's throw him the Randy Moss deep balls. Randy Moss was faster than everyone else. Tyreek Hill is faster than everyone else. You can't be the best deep ball, not to my way of thinking, you cannot be the best deep ball threat in that league unless you're faster than the corners.
I watched the games with Randy Moss 2 weeks ago, and I was nervous the whole time. We were, I dropped the name.
Whoa,
Amin,
dirt.
I don't condone that.
Like that.
I do not condone
thought we
that.
discussed it. I
thought so too.
I thought we discussed it.
That's bad.
We thought we erased this from the soundboard.
By the way, I had a suggestion that they erase the whole soundboard for Dan and just leave him
just
the penalties.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I don't know why Amin pressed that.
Wow, what a fool. By the way, let me say something. Do you guys know what Dan did? Because we've been attacking him about his memory and ability to remember names and stuff. He said, you know what? I'm not going to say JSN. I'm going to say the whole damn name.
He just said the last name, which was a choice.
Wild.
That was no, it's a flex.
You know that Jackson doesn't spell it CK. He spells it with an X. That's
Ooh,
cool as hell, right?
That's
That's cool as hell.
Like
right?
xenophobe. You sell X, all of a sudden it's a cool word now.
We move on to Dan screwing up the names Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell.
What you're doing that's not fair is you keep mentioning Lou Harris and Lou Williams and Montrell Harris. You keep mentioning Harrell, excuse me.
Mike's
it's still not my name that you got me getting wrong there. You got me getting an assortment of names wrong, not my own name.
Montel Jordan?
It's not their snap count. It's the quarterback's snap count. What difference does it make? The same way the first thing you hear when you're leaving the huddle and the last thing you hear when leaving the huddle is the snap count. When you're looking at that sheet of people that you're talking about, the name. That's the one. The reason why I chose names, because it's so obvious that you assume that you won't mess it up. Let's get off my guy's back, Dan.
We move on to Dan trying to say Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Amin's Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Yeah. I'm really good at yes.
Have you begun yet buying gifts Have you started?
Yeah.
What is the correct time? Yes, I'd like to transition out of you burying me in a library filled with my mistakes. Yes, I'd like to transition out of that.
Hold on. That one was recent, so it should be fresh in your mind. I would like you to explain to us what the hell was happening. Yellow Golden State Jackets? What is that?
Yeah,
that's our new name.
We were talking about Golden State, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
The second Golden State is him mocking himself. He like mocks himself for saying Golden State. He's like, Golden State.
Okay. I don't. Dan, I am not a good gift giver or gift buyer. Unfortunately, my wife takes care of all those things, and I only have to buy one gift for her. And I've already started thinking about it for Christmas as it comes up, and I'm terrible at it. I don't know if you guys got suggestions, if you know what to do. It's like you don't get the credit, I feel like, that for buying an expensive gift. It's like nice, you get an expensive gift, but you're supposed to get something really thoughtful, and I just suck at it. I'm not that thoughtful. I'm selfish.
It's a lot of pressure, right? To have to.
You seem like a good gift giver, Dan. You seem like you are a good gift giver.
I try to get gifts, yes, that know my wife. That are not
what are you proud of?
What am I proud of? What that I'm putting together this year?
No, not this year. Just like over the course of like your entire. It doesn't even have to be this relationship. All the relationships. I'm trying to cheat and steal one of your. You seem.
I do scavenger hunts. So I do things that are funny and nice and thoughtful. So it's 6, 7,
Gotta work for my gift.
8 gifts. Yeah. Like
go downstairs and open up the.
That doesn't feel like much of a gift. Like
look
just
underneath
someone work for
the flowers in the lobby.
Hey, hold on. What's the final? Where's the final? Is it like you laying in the bed?
Yeah.
Naked? Is that the final spot?
With an arrow down. Like, here it is. Beautiful.
Yes. That is. How did you guys see through me so well? It's me on a bearskin rug with an arrow pointing down at my penis. Yes, that's the big. Yeah, that's the big gift at the end.
And those Lexus ribbons on it. A December to remember.
It is. It's me just wearing one of those ribbons you put on an SUV when you're giving it.
You send her all around Miami, hot ass Miami, sweating and thinking and tired, and then she come back. Present, baby.
How did this get turned around on me? I was asking the group how they are at gift giving. How did this get turned? All of you are thoughtless? Mike, you're not a thoughtless gift giver. There's no way that you're a thoughtless romantic.
I got nothing on you, pal. I got nothing on you. I am thoughtless compared to you. You're doing a scavenger hunt, aren't you, for your anniversary?
Look at Jeremy's sweater. There's no way he's thoughtless.
Come on, man.
That's
I didn't even know Jeremy was here.
Yeah.
Hey,
What's up,
Jeremy?
Dominique? I was trying not to talk so that you wouldn't also bully me for wearing this cardigan.
I think, be honest with you, I think you look kind of fly.
Thank
I
you.
like it. I
Thank
kind of like it. I think you need a little jewelry though.
I know.
Like you need a little jewelry.
I was given a chain. I had one. It broke because it was cheap because it wasn't real. Obviously, I'm not spending that type of money. I need $1,000 from Dan over the weekend. Hopefully, the Chiefs cover -3.5. But look. Walking down the street.
Oh, never mind. I thought I didn't. It says Miami on it. Now,
it's a Miami Heat.
It's
Miami Heat. You get it. Court culture. Shout out court culture. Yeah. Shout out that guy who stopped me on the way here. Shout out the concierge in down here at the Elser who was giving me compliments. Shout out Amin's guy at the American Airlines Lounge yesterday.
Joseph, the bartender.
Yeah, Joseph, the bartender.
Dominique, look what you did.
Can I tell? Yeah, I'm sorry. Can I tell you the gift that I got my wife that I thought she was going to really appreciate that it didn't work out? It was a few anniversaries ago, and my wife really loves music, and especially old music, 90s R&B. Like we all love 90s R&B. A lot of Drew Hill playing in the house, a lot of Jodeci, a lot of that type of stuff playing at all times. So I mean, of course, I took her to dinner and all that stuff, and then the one thing that I thought she would find funny and also appreciate was I got a cameo from Cisco telling us happy anniversary, and he mispronounced my name. It was perfect. It was funny. He was like, I don't know, Don Quaid. He wanted to say it, and I thought it was perfect. It was funny. It's good. She was like, oh, okay. I was like, I got Cisco.
Wow.
Cisco thong song.
Dom, you telling me Cisco's on Cameo?
He was a few years ago. I don't know what he's doing now.
You know who else is on Cameo? me at Darth Amin. You can order a Cameo right now. Birthdays, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, whatever, anniversaries. I do it all. At Darth Amin, we're running a special right now. Don't miss it.
You got that special too?
Funerals too.
I'll send you the Cisco video if I can find it. So
He's
you can,
unavailable right now, Cisco. I was looking up to see how much it would cost.
So wait, the gift, you say you're a bad gift giver, and yet you're sitting here trying to give your wife something that is both thoughtful and funny, and she finds it neither.
Yeah, that's called being a bad gift giver, Dan, because I'm trying. I would love, there are plenty of things that I'm not good at, but I don't try, so it's fine. When I'm trying, I'm like, I'm going to do this. One year, I think, surprisingly, I wrote her a terrible poem a long time ago, which again, I was like, this will be.
That's good. That's a good effort. Good effort.
No, to be clear, I mean, I knew I'm not a poet. I was like, this will be funny and also get across the point that I'm trying to get across. And that was actually a gift that it worked out. And then of course there's you buy diamonds every anniversaries or every so often, and those go over well, but it never gets to quite the reaction of something that's thoughtful where it's oh, you nailed it. And I want to be good at these things. So I remember that, but you can't go back to it. That's the thing. Dan, you can only put your sexy body at the end of a scavenger hunt once. You can't do that every year.
Oh, no, that arrow has been used for 9 or 10 years now. It's the same ribbon I'm wearing as a thong every single year.
It's all tattered.
You mentioned, Jeremy, getting complimented by strangers. Is that something that you do at all? Are you comfortable enough? Are you man enough, Dominique, to just compliment a stranger with no agenda?
I've been trying to do that more often because I recognize, I go to New York for work every week, and it's probably once or twice a year, somebody will say something nice to me, and I will remember it for my whole life. So this is my goal going forward. Does anybody else do that? I think it takes a bit of confidence, and you have to be careful, obviously, because some people think you're hitting on them. Mm-hmm. But my wife's hairdresser came over a couple of days ago, and his cologne smelled great. It's that smelled great. And he's been telling everybody that I said his cologne smells great. And I just understand how good that feels. And I want to do it more often. And Dan, you do a really good job of hosting this show, man. You're really impressive and talented and awesome. And I love the gray in your beard.
It is actually a very easy way to make something stick with somebody in a way that brightens up somebody's day. I don't imagine Amin does very much of that.
No, this is the Doc Rivers press conference, right? Someone asks you a question, you say, what a smart question. And then they love you forever after that. So I think in professional settings, oddly enough, I think it's a very effective tool.
That's what I use it.
When you tell someone hey, man, I'm big, you go, if you're a guest on a podcast, oh, man, thanks for having me on. Big fan of the show. Never listen to that
What's your favorite episode?
But you say that. You just say, you know what you do? You do I do a little Google search, right?
Just so you have one in the holster?
Yeah, one in the holster. I can talk about, semi-intelligently. But, on the street saying, hey, man, that's a nice sweater. Nah, man.
Yeah, but that's all agenda-based. No. You're not doing something to spread feel-good. You're just lying. You're just lying to spread your own agenda.
Well, that's what he's doing.
He's complimenting a stranger for no reason other than to make him feel good.
It's not... I'm saying when I get a genuine compliment from somebody, it makes me feel good, and I try to do that more often. And you made that point about going on shows. Is there anything that you get all the time? Because people check my Wikipedia before I go on their show, and they always bring up that I was born in England, like they're the first person to find that. And I have to go through the same thing of yeah, my dad was in the military. No, I didn't have the accent. We left before then. But every time I go on the show, I know that you've checked my wiki, because if you say, hey, you're born in England, huh?
Good day.
That is worse, I think. That's worse than not knowing anything about you, correct? For them to just cite the first sentence of your Wikipedia is so lazy that it's offensive to you as a former professional athlete.
It's funny to me because I know what they did. They looked at it. They was like, oh, that's so random. No one probably brings this up. I'm going to shock them by bringing this up off the bat, and it's going to soften them up. It's going to be great. And I play along. Oh, yeah, my dad's military. Happy Veterans Day. It's cool. But it's really not that interesting a story because I don't remember anything. I think they're going to get something out of it. Did you play soccer growing up? No, I don't remember at all. We were stationed there. I was born.
We fish and chips?
And that was it.
Cool, blimey.
Did you start with a good A? I feel like
good day,
you started with a good A. Oh, it sounded more Australian. I was very confused.
My fault.
I wanted to ask both you and Amin something that's happening over in MLS where they seem to have made a bad business decision putting their games behind a paywall. And Inter Miami right now is in the middle of what is going to be a 1-month period playing the first round of MLS with Lionel Messi. Yes, Amin.
I won't lie. When you started with, I want to ask you and Amin a question. Like, what black topic are we going to have to tackle today?
No business. No business. We're trying to be.
It says right here, Dominique was born in England.
Oh, that's right.
I made the same face as you. As soon as he was like, I want to ask you and Amin a question. Like, oh man, we about to get into it. Yes, Colin Kaepernick got blackballed.
I went with a business question, asking my front office guys for some expertise on decisions a league made in growth and expansion of his league. I tell you, Apple as a partner, everybody would say yes. But now they're going to make their games free next year because they did real damage to their league by putting all of their games behind a paywall.
Well, free behind the normal paywall. They were like double paywall. You
Right.
had to
Two
have
paywalls?
You had to have like MLS Season Pass. Now, if you have Apple TV, you get access to the entire MLS. It is a capitulation on MLS's part to say, hey, this didn't work. Viewership's down. Attendance. You could always count on MLS attendance being strong. Attendance has dipped down to 2022 levels right now.
Why do you think attendance is down? Do you think it's related? I don't know if it's related.
It's hard. I mean, last year their attendance was good, but they had a huge boom with Messi being the novelty. And for it, I can understand
stretch.
it sliding, but to slide to 2022 levels, that is not the sustainable growth model that they touted so proudly.
Seems like Mike is the person that you should have asked this question to, but I think that you can tie the stretch. I don't think it's a stretch to tie the attendance going down to the viewership going down because, like, you follow a team. You want to go to the games. You want to watch the games that you don't go to. I think you have more buy-in. And I think we all kind of pointed at this time as this being kind of a bad idea because, to your point, Dan, you said they're in a growth stage. Like, if you're in a growth stage, you want it as easily accessible as possible, and you may not want to try to maximize revenue. Like anytime a company is building, you'll see it. Like a new company is going to give you a bunch of promotions, give you a bunch of discounts, try to get you, make it so this product is a habit for you, and you don't have to clear anything. They'll give you samples in the mall because they're trying to get you to stop and buy it. Like they did the opposite. They're like, you got to get reservations to come to this new restaurant that no one has heard of, that no one really likes in a country that is barely into it. So like, I think it was a interesting strategic move. It probably was financially more beneficial to them in the moment, but I think in long term, it's already had a bit of an
They'd be the
impact.
worst crack dealers ever.
We saw Spotify do a reversal when they try to make their podcast exclusive. We've seen the WWE's business tumble quite a bit. Netflix doesn't even release viewership numbers for Monday Night Raw. And now MLS is doing this. I understand as a commissioner of a league, he has to take like the big money deal. But in retrospect, this went against the best interests of the league by putting it behind this paywall, a league that was trying to grow, a league that has the benefit of hosting a World Cup this coming summer. In retrospect, big mistake.
Yeah, seems like it. I mean, I would have thought that WWE, I'm not a WWE guy, but like it's a long-standing business that has really locked-in fan base, and Netflix is probably the most common streaming service. I would have thought that if anything, if there was any league or entertainment property that could like survive and not be impacted by it would be the WWE. Of course, the NFL is one, but I even think if you put a paywall up for the NFL, it would have a dramatic negative impact on it. But I guess we have those Christmas games to look at, right? Those are the Netflix games.
I love the numbers do. The Amazon games technically are paywalled games.
Yeah, but you guys, you cannot have a business decision. You can't have what I'm about to say. You actually struck gold on all things Messi related, and you didn't grow your league while it was happening. Like, those two things can't, like, that is a management failure of the highest order, to have the best player in the world deliver on being the best player in the world, and you're not growing your league while it happened.
I think they were ambitious. They thought, like, people are going to be like, oh, Messi, I don't care. Sight unseen, here's my money. And what they found out is, again, this market is a tough nut to crack.
I also think that it's possible that these decisions always seem so obvious to us on the outside, but when you're in a room like that, there's a lot of different things competing, pulling one way or the other. And I'm sure that they want their franchise values to grow up. Like, that's the most important thing, and they have to find a new way to demonstrate that franchise values are going up. I think the assumption was probably that they'll get more money from Apple with this paywall deal, like right now, and that'll show a jump in revenue, which will lead to increase in franchise values, which is what, like, we only look at ratings as the only measure, but I think like franchise value and revenue, especially for a young league, is probably something that they're a lot more concerned about than we would think. So they probably went into it. I can't imagine that they thought that their numbers would go up. I'm sure they didn't think that they would crater, but they went into it, I'm assuming, thinking that they'll be able to demonstrate that this is a much more profitable business than originally thought to be.
The Dominique Foxworth Show is something that all of you should listen to because it is smart and interesting and different. You should stop in on the live watch on Sunday during Chiefs must win against the Broncos. The shipping container has a $5,000 bet. You should pop in at some point on Sunday, Dominique.
Yeah, I like that. Nick Wright is making it real hard for us guests. We are all supposed to come in and.
I was gonna say, can you drop a
shipping
little
container?
bit? Yeah, can you drop a little? I know you got money. I know you got money.
Let me go see. I'm gonna go check these couch cushions, see what I can
I
throw
know you
on
got
top
money
of
in
that.
there.
Let me
you
go
got money in the couch cushions.
see
I've seen them.
in the couch cushion. See you later, Dominique.
Bye,
Put it on
guys.
the poll at Le Batard Show. Does
$1,000 from
Dominique
Dominique. $1,000.
actually have coins in his couch cushions?
Coming up on Mystery Crate, I read sentences backwards and see if people can understand them. Tony takes the bite out of the side of a corn dog.
Well, you took the top bite, though.
I bite the tip. Tony bites the shaft. Fuentes, what else we got coming up?
We talk about how turkey stinks.
Turkey does not stink.
Amin
You guys
fights
are
us on it.
ingrates.
It's terrible. Come on, Thanksgiving.
I'm with Amin
It's
there.
so much better if we didn't have turkey. Chicken
You know
instead.
what else was terrible? When Mike ruined my whole story.
I didn't ruin the whole story.
Such a bad.
We had another Jess
And-
Reed segment.
Yeah.
Chris swallows 7 swords.
7.
7 swords. We're building up to 100 on Mystery
And
Crate.
Jeremy barely speaks.
You're going to love it.
Don't be a journalist. Like,
Exactly.
do something else.
It's over.
Sad.
I mean,
You're going to let Stugotz parent your daughter. You think that's a good idea?
you think journalism is a good occupation to choose now?
No, I would not. Listen, not only is it not a good occupation to choose, I have looked around Miami and realized we're the only ones providing the jobs we're presently providing. I heard local TV reporters are making $45,000 a year.
Huh.
I couldn't believe that's how bad local television is struggling, that's the place that has arrived. And I told Chris Cody not to get into this business at all because it's terrible.
But Stephen A. Smith is making more money than he's ever made in his entire life. He has more power. He has more of everything than he's ever had in his entire life. You want him to give that up because of journalism? Like, get out of here.
I believe you can do both. You're being very
How?
You're being very absolute about this. First of all, he does. He
Right.
does reporting, does journalism. He is very credible. When he gives information, it's not like Skip Bayless giving information. There is a difference. Skip Bayless also allegedly a journalist, but he's been contaminated by this thing and distorted by it in ways that are even more poisonous because he doesn't do any reporting anymore. Like, he doesn't talk to people in a way that's informed. Stephen A. actually goes to things, has relationships, and certainly when he's talking about basketball, if Stephen A. gives you information that's not opinion, you trust that it's informed.
No doubt. But every time he does that show, Dan, his journalistic, every single episode, his journalistic integrity, it shreds away. Little by little, piece by piece, it just does. He is doing a debate show debating the most ridiculous topics in the history of sports. Like, it has to affect your credibility.
Stugotz, it has happened.
And you sitting next to me does not help. I mean,
or my dad or Cody, because I said
Cody?
to myself, generations of Codys, because I did say to myself, this is one of the things I find funny about Stephen A. and thinking that he and I do the same thing, because once I got to PTI and it was argument television, I said I'd like to try to do it differently, but I guess that sounds highfalutin. I don't want to do debate shows.
The knuckleball is dead.
The knuckleballer is dead now, correct? Completely dead. There's no one. Is there anyone throwing the knuckleball now?
Someone has to be throwing.
Yeah. I would say Tim Wakefield was pretty
None of us
bad.
have one. We're just like, yeah.
No, there has to
There's
be.
got to be. Well, wait a minute. The knuckleballer didn't go extinct without anyone telling us.
As
did
long
it?
as there's breath in my lungs, there's a knuckleballer out there.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo, at Le Batard Show. As long as there is breath in your lungs, will there be a knuckleballer out there?
There should be more because if you notice, I mean, I don't have any stats to back this, but I don't care. I'm going with it regardless. I would say that the position players that are pitching have a much better ERA than average pitchers do, because they're all just going out there throwing the ball like 35 miles an hour, and the hitters are so confused that they just get under it, they pop up. Like, nary a run is scored off of a position player sometimes, but not always.
I loved when baseball analysis was starting strong. I loved the people who would do the analytics on how a knuckleballer would screw up your hitters the next day. For the preparing for a knuckleball would screw you up the next day as well, because you're sitting out there hitting those 45-mile-an-hour butterflies.
There's nothing that I hated more, like growing up watching the Marlins, than when Jamie Moyer was coming to play against them. And I don't even remember if he was a knuckleballer or if he could just only hit 75.
It was just slop.
He could only hit
he
like
was not a knuckleballer.
72.
He was just old, and he threw croutons up
Anytime
there
was a knuckleballer or just an old man that could throw the ball really slow, I knew, like, this team can only hit fastballs, and this is going to be a long day and a long week because they're not going to be able to figure it out.
And it's frustrating because you're just seeing these meatballs go over the plate. You're like, how can you not deal with this? This is so slow. Hit the baseball. And yet Jamie Moyer had a 20-year career. He was 40. He was still pitching.
What is the ruling of the committee? Is Stugotz is nominated? I need some sort of formal ruling from the committee. He has nominated Joe Musgrove. Billy is passionately against. Chris, are you willing to give him horse status, because horse status is before ace? Horse is not an ace.
Oh, wow. What an NFL weekend. Huge games everywhere. 4 big ones? 4 huge ones? 4 huge ones?
Every game is big, but there's 4 bigger ones.
I love a big game. Locked into Chargers-Jags.
That's a
Playoff
good game.
implications. Yep. If you want tickets to that or any other NFL game, why don't you take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time? Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Dan for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Swipe, tap, ticket, go.
Don't sleep on small games, though, because there's a lot of room there. Not as many people. Concession stand lines are smaller. Don't sleep on the little games.
The little games are literally when I do sleep. They
4 o'clock window. Not this week.
When there are some 4 o'clock, when there are some 3-4 o'clock games and Arizona's involved, and I'm not terribly interested, that is a good sleeping place. It is there are some decent napping windows on the NFL. Tony is never napping on the weekends. He's perpetually hustling. He's got 2 things going on this weekend because he is an unrelenting hustler. It's not just what we were telling you about on Sunday, where he is, I believe the verb he used was spearheading our coverage of the big Chiefs-Broncos game, but it's also what you're doing Saturday at Dead Flamingo, right?
Saturday night, Dano, probably the biggest UFC card of the entire year. UFC loves to do this. They love to back end the year, close it out with a bang at MSG.
Bookend, I think you meant.
Dano, No, they close it out with a bang. It's not a bookend thing. It's a close it out with a bang thing because they're back end is fine. Back end is fine because the problem is they don't really bookend. Bookend means it's good in the
But
beginning,
I
good
thought
at the end.
the way you put your hands up, you meant bookend.
No, but I
They
just
like
do
to
it.
put one
I
at the
just talk with
start
my hands because I'm
and the
Cuban.
back.
Why is everybody an asshole today?
Yeah, thank you.
Today?
Do we have another jack shit here? Damn. All right. Dano, UFC 322. We got Islam Makhachev moving up a weight division to fight Jack Della Maddalena, a massive super fight between the two. Then, in the co-main event, another massive super fight between Valentina Shevchenko and Zhang Wei Li. Okay, she's moving up a division to go fight.
Is she
Valentina
the one that
Shevchenko.
lifted Shaq?
She lifted Shaq and Francis Ngannou basically over her shoulder. She's like 5'2".
We're gonna pull that up.
She's very strong. So these two super fights are happening, plus a ton of other great fights. Oh, here you go. Zhang Wei Li with Shaq. As you can see, she's like literally 5'3".
Cool haircut.
On Shaq?
Now
He's
let's
had it for a
judge here.
while.
I saw this before. Let's judge if this is a real lift.
She's also wearing big shoes.
She gets some help here. I'm saying she gets some help here.
I don't know. She's lifting Shaq off the ground.
And now it's Francis Ngannou.
The Francis one is easy.
Yeah, I mean, that's like.
But that's a guy that weighs like 275 pounds of pure muscle.
Shaq is pushing 360.
Shaq gave a little.
Okay, could you do what she did to Shaq?
Shaq, I don't believe that classifies as her lifting up Shaq. I believe that's
okay,
Shaq
that kind of-
getting
How about-
up
Is
on
that
a
holding
tippy
up
toe.
Shaq?
Everybody's an
Because
asshole.
Shaq got in the
What?
air.
What?
At least give her something.
She's small. He's
Come on.
huge.
Thank you. So UFC 322 at the Garden will be live at Dead Flamingo. Party starts at 10 o'clock. Great fights on the prelims. Great fights on the main card. We've got a bunch of stuff happening there.
Bookend.
We'll be bookending the Dead Flamingo night with opening up and then also
Good
us.
job. Good job.
Thank you.
You didn't say cock. You came close, but you
There was
didn't
a
say
lot
it.
of a lot of that was
yeah,
said
yeah.
earlier.
I was like, oh, here it comes. He's going to say cock, but he didn't.
And then on Sunday, spearheading the cheap seats, we've got Kansas City, Denver. Probably the biggest matchup of the year
Definitely in the 4 o'clock window.
for the shipping container.
Jeremy, I believe that Dominique Foxworth was correct when he said that outfit does indeed require a chain. There's a lot of neck there. There's a bit of chest. There are some promises being made by the
those
top
chest hairs.
part of that shirt. But I also believe if you were wearing a chain that we might make more fun of you if you were wearing a chain that's too thick. So I guess, yeah, maybe
It does kind of help. Mike just put one on him.
Well,
That's
it's a lot of neck. It's
That's a good look.
that shirt. It has a lot of neck in it. There's no disputing that.
No, the chain looks good,
The
Dan.
chain
It
is
looks
an
good. It looks
accent
good.
that
Look.
helps. Yeah.
You're welcome.
It's a really good look.
I look great.
I got a guy for Jeremy, by the way. I know he wants to use that $1,000 to roll it over and get a chain. I got a guy.
I got that one on IG.
Cuban link.
Yeah.
Jonah Hill
Very
told
nice.
me
This is great.
if I want
If you want to go, I got a guy.
White
Ariel.
gold. I need white gold.
You need white gold? Oh, true. Touche. My bad.
Amin has some breaking information here that he was very eager to share with everyone because he believes that we do not know something about Babe Ruth that he knows. He was, I guess, thinking about Babe Ruth because Shohei Ohtani is, again, one MVP. He is the modern-day Babe Ruth. He's somebody who has only existed one other time in the history of baseball.
You know he's Dominican, right?
Yeah, I did know that.
Okay,
Yeah,
just
that
making
one.
sure.
That one.
Dan, you know he's Dominican, right?
I thought he was black. I thought Babe Ruth.
Well, he no black.
I know black, I Dominican.
Dominican.
What information do you have on Babe Ruth? That see, Mike Ryan was passing around at dinner last night new information that he had not heard, and he was assuming that no one else had heard it. You don't have necessarily breaking news on Babe Ruth, do
It's
you?
not breaking news, but it's just like I found. I was reading up on Shohei winning MVP. It's his 4th and 5th years. He's a unanimous winner. He's the only multiple-time unanimous winner of MVP in any major sports history. And I was like, that's odd. And then I looked up, and then it's, Aaron Judge wins AL MVP, 3rd time in 4 years, making him the winningest MVP in Yankees history. And I was like, And so I'm like, guys, you mean to tell me Babe Ruth was a unanimous MVP like 700 times in a row? And I looked it up, and Babe Ruth only has 1 MVP.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Do you guys know why he has 1 MVP?
Carl Malone had a great season.
Yeah, it does.
Babe Ruth fatigue.
No, they actually had a rule that back in the day, lifetime, you could win MVP once. You win it once, you're off the ballot forever. So the year he hit 60 home runs and was crazy, whatever, he wasn't even on the ballot
That
guys
is
know
good
that?
information. Put it on the poll. Did you know that Babe Ruth won only one MVP?
I have a tidbit for you. Okay, when I say Hitler, what do you think? Micro
Nazis?
penis.
Oh.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, he had a micro penis.
Yeah.
That came out yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, so, like Dan was like, I knew something about his testicle, but I was like, yeah, no, he
had one nut.
No, apparently
He didn't have one nut.
No, he had two, but the other one didn't descend.
Okay, that means you go. Hold on. So it's inside him?
Yeah.
Wow. Doesn't that mean you?
That's
just
never happened. You've never gotten up from the couch and been like, what?
No.
It happens. to me
Mine
quite
hang
a
low,
bit.
man. Long ball
Happens
Larry.
to
That's
me.
what I am.
You said it came out
It's a long-ass
yesterday.
ball.
I don't believe that the news came out yesterday.
No, Jeremy knows about it.
I feel like I've heard that before.
You know about that Hitler
he's got a-
micro penis?
Yeah, dude, this is a great day for me. First, I'm this hot. Second, I find out Hitler has a micro penis. I mean, what a day for the Lucky J.
Can I say, does that shock you?
No, it tracks.
It's a par for the course, man. Like this is exactly the behavior of someone who's mad at the world because his dick is too small.
That's right.
I don't think that news broke yesterday. I believe that you discovered it yesterday, and you're so narcissistic that you believe that if you discover something, it's breaking news. That's not how breaking news works.
Well, I mean, there is a truth to reaggregation, like that NPR spoken word tiny desk thing is going re-viral when I thought we did this 2 years ago. But you felt pretty strongly that you knew that he had a micropenis, but then when pressed on it, you're like, okay, maybe I knew about the testicle thing. But even that was a wrong tidbit. He had two nuts. One was inside.
Inside of him.
One was inside.
Per CBS News yesterday, Adolf Hitler most likely suffered from a rare genetic condition called Kalman syndrome. Researchers and documentary makers.
There's reasonable doubt there, Your Honor. Reasonable doubt.
K-A-L-L-M-A-N-N. Researchers and documentary makers said Thursday, following DNA testing of the Nazi dictator's blood.
Wait,
we still have his blood?
Also, Kalman. It's bad enough to have a micro penis. It's even worse when they name it after you.
Well, it's just a German doctor diagnosing himself. Like, oh, come on.
You got to be kidding me.
Can you guys get the video, please, here of this? I can't call this a streaker, right? Like, what is the proper name for somebody now who's running on a court or on a field, but isn't necessarily taking off their clothes? In order to be a streaker, you have to take off your clothes, right? It can't just be you're running on the court. Where's this basketball court here?
This is Clippers Nuggets the other day. We actually had the video yesterday to roll, but
Another
it was
angle.
the broadcast, and we couldn't show it because we get dinged. So we finally got the native angle. This is someone with a cell phone recording it, and this is a kid. He runs across the court in the middle of Nuggets Clippers. Jokic is on the floor, like important players on the floor, and then he jukes the shit out of one of these security guards, which I can't get enough of. Watching this old man try to get him, and then they'll whoop, he gives him the slip. I said that guy's going to be in the training room right next to Bradley Beal after the game. Too soon?
So this is courtside, and this is during play. They're bringing the ball up, and he's just on the court, and he's showed his buddy. He had very good seats, and he's juking security as they took a long time to get out there. And so what is your point that he's near Jokic and that it's during play and that it's just the illusion of security?
Yeah.
It's not really security?
It's a really weird thing. Like, obviously it's funny, and then you realize he's like promoting some meme coin, and now you're an asshole, looking for attention, whatever. But there's a part of me that's like, wow, this whole thing works under like this implicit code that nobody actually crazy is going to show up, right? Nobody actually crazy is going to have enough money to sit courtside, because without that, when I always think about this sort of implicit social code, Dan, when I'm driving, I'll be on the freeway and going like 70 miles an hour, and everyone's going 70, and I'm like, wow, this whole thing is like kind of relying that I'm not just going to go crazy and say, you know what, right turn in the middle of traffic and just take out as many people as I want. It's so crazy that a lot of this stuff is we just trust that human beings are not going to just lose their shit at the wrong time. And so something like this, that dude could have ran up to any one of those people and done God knows what, right? Yeah, I get it. They're metal detectors. Guess what? Now they make like box cutters that are made out of plastic, man.
But it's not a societal code. It's consequences. It's what that person did for their little, because his friends immediately started taping him because it's just something he was going to do to put on Instagram. The consequences are that he's going to feel it. It's not going to be worth it in any way. The amount of time he's going to have to spend in jail, the amount of money he's going to have to spend because of what kind of crime that is. It's not social construct. It's not the person driving on the highway isn't just going to turn right at 70 miles an hour. It's the person's not willing to suffer the consequences of dying if they turn right at 70 miles an hour.
But that's my point, Dan, is it's still kind of just assuming, let's just assume everyone is normal. Remember Monica Seles? You guys remember this? Monica Seles.
The tennis player, Seles.
Seles.
It's not Seles?
Well, you know,
which one of you two is in the tennis chat?
Exactly. So she was one of the best, like either one or two tennis players in the world. Her big opponent, rival was Steffi Graf. And there was a guy who was a big Steffi Graf fan, and he got upset, and he's like, so he literally jumps out in the middle of a match, and he stabs her. In the middle of a match.
I think that Monica Seles' career was never the same after that, correct? Like she was stabbed by somebody who was just a crazy fan, and it wasn't
Seles, by the way, Dan. Way to hold your ground. I'm proud of you.
It's Monica Seles. She was a great tennis player. I've never heard anybody but you pronounce it Seles.
You guys, man, because you don't know about the Balkans.
Are we xenophobic? Is that
I believe you guys are.
I mean, when you Google it, it's Seles. I've always heard Seles.
Regardless, I don't believe her career was ever the same after that emotionally, not physically, right? I say stabbing, you might think it's physically.
Anytime someone gets up in the grandstands, you remember that moment.
So after she got stabbed, she lost she won the Australian Open and lost, I believe, in the U.S. Open finals twice. So her career is still obviously very good, but clearly, what kind of trust issues does that create for an athlete, for anyone actually, for that matter? But the point is, if that guy was a rational, sane human being who was just a fan of Steffi Graf, you could argue, I'd love to get the competition out the way, but man, the repercussions, the consequences, I can't do that. But he wasn't. He was just batshit crazy. And so he did it and didn't care about the consequences. And so when you think about people at an NBA game, particularly courtside people, they're rich. Man, you don't know. You just don't know how far insanity goes, that a guy could be like, I'm going to liquidate my life savings and I'm going to buy tickets and then I'm going to go stab Nikola Jokic because I think Luka Doncic is the best player in the world.
Guys, everybody's wrong. It's Seles.
Seles, my fault. I knew there was a sh.
Okay, so you corrected me, but you put the sh in the wrong place.
Okay. You know what? Sorry, I'm dyslexic, okay? Boom, it's out in the open. I was trying to hide it. I worked my entire career keeping it a secret, but Dan Le Batard pressured me to reveal my disability. And you know what? I stand strong for everyone who suffers from dyslexia.
You're brave.
Yes, thank you.
No, thank you.
I'm merely a vessel.
Vessel.
Segueing awkwardly to Lane Kiffin shitposting his way back into the game at the top of the NFL head coaching chain. We were talking earlier this week about what an unusual ascent, and not linear, it has been for Lane Kiffin to develop the confidence of personality to be unrelentingly himself as a rehab project. One of the first to come through Nick Saban's rehab center in Alabama, where he goes and grabs the tarnished professional coach who's an offensive mind. Lane Kiffin is now in play for just about any job he wants, and it's not just the unusual path, as Mike mentioned, Tennessee burning mattresses, tarmac firing at USC, Raiders firing that was very public and messy and was the last time the Raiders were any kind of relevant. Lane Kiffin is actually shitposting his way to the top of, I'm going to be a different kind of coach. That's something you can get away with when there are no expectations in Mississippi. It's something you get away with less if you're going to be the Giants coach, for example.
Well, yeah, I mean, you mentioned shitposting. He just retweeted that DJ Lagway got benched when he is the betting favorite to be the next Florida Gators head coach. They have the Gators this week. By the way, if you monitor Gators message boards. They feel like this Lane Kiffin thing is done. But Lane Kiffin would be wise to sit and wait. There's a pretty decent NFL job that just opened up with his college quarterback there. And I happen to know that the NFL.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Oh, my God, he knows. He happens to know. Come, everyone. Come and listen. Happens to know. He happens to know. Well informed.
Happen to know that the NFL does have some teams in it that would be interested in speaking with Lane Kiffin. One has already reached out. It's the one that has his college quarterback. Other teams are kind of in flux, trying to figure out what they're going to do, and they would be interested in Lane Kiffin if that head coaching vacancy did open up. But Lane Kiffin right now is a world by the balls. The Florida job would probably be the one that he takes if he leaves Ole Miss, because LSU is a freaking mess right now. You don't sue your coach to avoid paying him the entirety of the contract when you're trying to be the biggest job available.
Let me ask you guys something here, because I had for a long time, when it came to the Bobby Bowdens of the world, I was making the argument for a really long time that if I had a job like that, I would just keep that job and not be tempted by the pros. I would not be Urban Meyer. I would not be Jimmy Johnson. I would like the security. This is a lifetime ago, because I wouldn't want that job now with the way that NIL is. This is the security that you could have at Mississippi if you wanted it, and your Lane Kiffin could be a forever security where you just say to Mississippi, give me the longest contract you've got. I don't want to do any of those other things. I'll just stay here and have very few expectations ever. The moment he lands in New York, game one, the expectations change for everything Lane Kiffin has been. He's in a perfect spot where he could beat Oklahoma and he could beat Texas and he can beat Florida from a program that no one is expecting anything from, if not for Lane Kiffin. So I ask you, do competitive people think the way that I'm thinking, where it's like, give me a cushy spot where I can just shitpost, I could talk my shit about everybody, and if I'm the 6th-ranked team in the country, everyone in my fan base is going to be thrilled about the job I've done. There aren't any actual expectations here.
So I think there's two things at play. Number one is just the general ego of, like, I feel like I'm just as good as these people that you think are the best at the job. I want the ability. I want the opportunity to prove that I can do it, especially if you're Lane Kiffin. You flamed out the last time you had a pro job. It's like, no, I gotta show these people I wasn't a bum or whatever. But then the other part of it, Dan, this is a little different. College coaches. I know this is true in basketball, and I know it's true in football. I don't know if it's the case in baseball or any other sport. But college coaches, even before the NIL stuff, they hate a lot of this. They dream of a day like, what? I don't have to worry about grades, or was he late to study hall? I can just coach football and nothing else. They dream about that. And so they pine to be in the pros, not just to say, hey, we're one of the best, but also to not have to put up with a lot of begging a 17-year-old to come play for
That
you.
part of the job is not something that I would like very much if I was in charge of a college football program. But you guys will allow that if Lane Kiffin were the Giants coach, the shit posting would stop, right? Because there is no NFL coach who is shit posting.
I don't know about that.
No,
but
I know about that.
Give me the NFL coach who's doing that.
Give you the college coach that's doing what Lane is doing. No one is Lane Kiffin there. Now the NFL does have an opinion about Lane Kiffin. That stuff doesn't fly for most teams. And believe it or not, his offense is under scrutiny in the NFL. They think that he kind of runs a Mickey Mouse offense that wouldn't translate to the NFL. My rebuttal to that is, like, doesn't he just run that offense because it's proven to work in college? Don't you think his mind is smart enough to devise an offense that would work for the pros? But there are questions there. Lane, also, if he goes to the NFL and flames out, he can go right back to the top of the line when it comes to head coaching candidates. But if he fails at Florida, people are going to be having these concerns. He failed at USC. He failed at Florida. He's not going to be the top guy anymore.
So first of all, Mike makes an excellent point. Is there are other questions? He's kind of unique in and of himself in college. But then the reason why it wouldn't fly in the NFL beyond just their stodgy is because that shit only flies when you're good. I keep saying this about Joe Mazzulla. We see it about Mike McDaniel. All that quirky shit. I'm different. Look at me. I shitpost. You can do that when you're busting ass. When you're 500, when you're 3-7, can you imagine Dayball trying to do some shit like that? They would have had his
I
ass out
can't
after week
imagine
one.
an NFL coach of any kind behaving that way
You gotta
on
win.
social media.
I can imagine him doing it if he were wildly successful. But the success is what buys you the right and the latitude to do that sort of stuff in the same way that Phil Jackson can burn incense in the locker room and give guys books. Like, you think that shit flies if we're a 42-win team, if we're a 40-win team? Hell no. Everyone get the hell out of my face. But when you're successful, they give you all the affordability of those accolades to let you do whatever the hell you want.
There are plenty of successful NFL coaches. There are none who have ever behaved that way. There are exactly 0 who have used social media the way that Lane Kiffin is using it in college. Regardless, we've kept Matthew Berry waiting, and we shouldn't keep Matthew Berry waiting because he did it again last week. You need to stop what you're doing and write down what he's telling you because Chris Olave is making a catch one-handed to make all Matthew Berry's numbers come true. Let's go, Matthew Berry. Let's get to it. Let's get these people some money.
Give me some money.
Thank you, Dan. Since week 5, no team has allowed more fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks than the Jacksonville Jaguars. In fact, 4 of the past 5 quarterbacks to face the Jags have scored at least 24 fantasy points. It's a list that includes Geno Smith and Davis Mills. Dude, Justin Herbert is going to go off this weekend. In 3 of the 4 starts he's made this season, Marcus Mariota's had at least 16 fantasy points. That includes 2 top 12 finishes. This week he faces the Dolphins. For the season, only one team in the NFL has allowed more rushing touchdowns to opposing quarterbacks than the Miami Dolphins. Since week 4, Ashton Genty averaging 19 touches a game. Why am I mentioning 19? Because running backs have seen at least 15 touches against Dallas, averaging 130 yards from scrimmage. 130 yards from scrimmage. They're averaging that. Since Joe Flacco became the starter, Chase Brown is the 11th best running back in fantasy football. He's had 3 straight games with at least 100 yards from scrimmage, played 95% of the snaps and 100% of the RB touches last week. Samaje Perine dealing with that ankle. Over the past 2 games, Amari DiMercado, you heard me, Amari DiMercado of the Cardinals has 182 yards from scrimmage on just 22 touches. He's averaging 9 yards per touch on the season. And in fact, 23% of his runs this year have gained at least 10 yards. Since week 6, the 49ers are allowing the 8th most fantasy points per game to opposing running backs. I'm just saying you could do worse as a flex. Since week 5, there's only been 1 game this year where Jalen Waddle didn't get at least 80 yards. We talked about him last week as well. He's averaging 18 fantasy points per game during that stretch. My beloved Commanders have given at least 20 fantasy points to an opposing wide receiver in 4 straight games. 4. So you're telling me a wide receiver gets at least 25 fantasy points against the Commanders this week? It's going to be Jalen Waddle. He's going to go off. Since week 7, Devontae Smith has at least a 40% target share.
Are you giving yourself around the horn points?
25%. I'm sorry?
Are you giving yourself around the horn points? We're hearing something something is getting points there. Are you giving yourself points?
I'm giving him points.
No, I'll tell you I'll tell you exactly what's happened, Dan. I'm embarrassed about this, but my phone is blowing up. It's my phone. Those are all from my phone. My daughter's braces, a wire on it broke. And so I was late getting here to the studio. And so I basically barely rushed in and made it. And so that's my daughter blowing up my phone right now. And I don't understand why my wife is not handling this. So to be perfectly honest.
Anyway, that's okay. We like it.
Because I'm like, I have Dan's show. I have to do the Dan show, honey. Can you deal with our daughter and her braces? Because I dropped her off at the dentist. I did my part.
Matthew Berry. Matthew Berry, Cavante Smith is where we interrupted you.
Yes, it's all good. Yes, Devontae Smith, 41% target share, Dan, and wide receivers that have seen at least a 25% target share versus the Lions this year, averaging over 20 fantasy points per game. Speaking of target share, this season, when Khalil Shakur gets at least a 20% target share, he averages over 14 fantasy points per game. Dalton Kincaid likely out this weekend for the Bucs. Middle of the field is going to be all Shakur. Worth noting that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers allow the 7th most yards after the catch per reception. Get this, since week 7, the 6th best tight end in fantasy is Dalton Schultz. He's had at least 13 fantasy points in 3 of the past 4 games. Davis Mills gets another start for the Texans. He tends to look for Schultz quite a bit. There you go.
Matthew, congratulations on the NBCSN news beginning next week.
Thank you very much. We're excited. We're excited.
Hey. We'll see
Peacock
you there.
Spreading its wings.
We'll see you there because our show is also going to be on NBCSN
What?
when it debuts
Yes!
on YouTube TV next week.
Yeah!
That's per the press release.
Yeah.
So congratulate Matthew on the specifics, though. Tell the people the specifics of what it is that's happening with Matthew.
Steve Martin also. His show is going to be on YouTube TV's new NBCSN linear channel. And per the press release, the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz will also be there.
Yeah.
I'm bringing this sweater.
That is not a smile that any of us enjoyed seeing from you. Matthew, take care of your priorities, your life, your daughter, the braces. We appreciate the money, but take care of your family, please.
Yeah, no, I will. I will, Dan. Thanks for this. Excited to be on NBC, another NBC platform with you guys. But what's great is that as soon as you guys interrupted me immediately, then, of course, she stopped blowing up my phone. So,
Shout out to the wife.
there you go. Exactly, around the horn. Good luck to everyone, you guys, this weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
If you're following what he's doing, it's pretty consistently 6 of the 9 or 7 of the 9 or 8 of the 9 things that he's recommending end up happening. It's been happening for weeks now. One final bow at the end of the week here on all of the Dallas and Nico and Luka conversation that has dominated sports, because it really is unlike most things you see when you've got a contaminated fan base and you've got Jason Kidd at the bottom of the rubble sort of telling fans, hey, you're making matters worse, and fans are lashing out with, we don't care that we're making matters worse, we will be heard. Like, it feels to me like Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction. I will not be ignored. We're not going to be ignored about what this betrayal is. You will not make us feel this worthless.
Were you quoting, what's that, Fatal Attraction? I will not be ignored, Michael.
That is correct.
Oh, wow. Good.
Steve Martin should have said
That's
it.
what
Said it.
That's how
No,
I
that's what I'm saying. Were you referencing?
Yes, I said Glenn Close and Fatal Attraction.
He literally said it.
He said that.
Okay. All right. You guys say, always fights, you never agree. Yeah, okay. My bad.
Hey, man, big on you to admit when
That's the
you're wrong.
ball. It went off me, coach.
It's Glenn Close.
Do you have any new information for us here? Because you've been following this closely. You've been seeing how people are reacting to this, and it's a calamity that you don't get to see very often.
Well, I do have new information because on Basketball Illuminati this week, we had Jason Gallagher on. Jason Gallagher, the executive producer of Mind the Game. He's the guy that was the executive producer of J.J. Redick's podcast before J.J. Redick went to go coach.
Old Man in the Three.
Old Man in the Three, there you go. And Jason Gallagher was once upon a time a Dallas massive super fan of the Mavericks, right? But the trading of Luka was the thing that broke the camel's back, and he, like Mike Ryan quitting the Browns, he quit his Mavs fandom. He lives in Oklahoma City, so he decided to adopt the Thunder as his team, which is pretty convenient in 2025. But he still has a lot of contacts and connections in Dallas. And what he told us on Basketball Illuminati, among other things, was that a certain familiar someone has started to re-enter the picture in Dallas. Makes a lot of sense. If you're Patrick Dumont, what do you have? You have a fractured fan base. They're angry, so you want what? You want to bring people back in. So the Mavericks have done a lot of these things of nostalgia. They put the big M with the cowboy hat back on the middle of the floor to get the fans back. But like, no, I need real nostalgia. I want something or someone to make people feel real, warm, and fuzzy.
Sharks?
Sharks.
What are you proposing?
Exactly. Mark Cuban has reemerged as perhaps going to be back in an official capacity beyond, I just own part of the team, man.
27% owner is an official capacity.
No, more than that. I'm talking about the room where the decisions are made. Remember
the shadowy hand? The room where it happens?
It ain't no shadowy hand no more.
Wasn't he supposed to be there anyway?
He was, and then he got pushed out, and he's like, you know what? It's not. And then they didn't talk to him at all on the Luka thing at all. And then this last weekend, before Nico got let go, my man picked up the phone, Patrick Dumont, and said, Mark, can I talk to you about something? And then boom, 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 here we are. Nico's out, and the next step here is perhaps Mark Cuban back in the seat.
All right, let me present to you guys the thing that I was presenting earlier this week and just put it more plainly to you, because I know, because you guys have made fun of me, I remember where I was when the Clippers made the trade and the moves for Kawhi and Paul George, because it felt like the next cheapest version of LeBron's decision. That however it is that you had been affected by the transaction in sports, when Kawhi and Paul George held up free agency, it was the sequel to all the stuff that had happened with LeBron. And now in retrospect, as we continue to talk about a Luka trade that craters the Dallas franchise, I think we're running the potential of the next 5 years of this Clippers trade becoming worse and worse and worse. And I ask you when I put them both in front of you, because people did not object to the Clippers trying to stop being a laughingstock by mortgaging all of their future for the win now of James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and all that. But because OKC has so many picks and because OKC has rigged the system to take away the sport from the Celtics, who had rigged the system offensively, we're going to take 53s a game and we're just going to be Derek White and Tatum and Brown are all going to take threes and take threes. They wrestle the sport away from them with younger players, with more depth, and with more draft picks. When it's done, what's that Clippers trade going to be? A Clippers trade that many people listening to this are, of course, you got to get the superstar. If you're the Clippers, trade whatever you can to get the superstars. How bad a trade is this going to end up being? Are we just at the beginning parts of this becoming an epically, historically bad trade?
So, first and foremost, I wouldn't say the Celtics ever had a stranglehold on the sport. They played a style that was a gamble, and that gamble failed massively last year in the playoffs prior to Jason Tatum going down to injury. Right? They were going to lose that series anyway because they were dogmatic and would not adjust to the realities. I don't think they ever had a stranglehold on the sport, and certainly not to the level.
Well, they won a championship.
They won a championship, but okay.
But that was a hurt Dallas Mavericks team on top of that.
Even if they were healthy, the Mavericks weren't good enough to beat the Celtics. The Celtics were going to win that championship. Now, would they have won it if they played against Denver?
No.
No, my friend. But that doesn't matter. We don't deal in hypotheticals. We deal in reality, right? What makes OKC's deal, this is the part, right, that they're all under contract for the most part. They're all of a certain age, so it's not like someone's getting older. They're right entering their prime. So they have an opportunity right here in this window to be dominant in the way that you're describing. But what makes the deal especially bad, because think about it, this is what they got in that deal, Oklahoma City. For Paul George, they got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who became the MVP of the league and the finals MVP. They got a first-round pick that turned into Trey Mann that got traded. So, okay. They got a first-round pick that turned into Jalen Williams, another all-star. You're like, okay. They got a first-round pick that was protected. They turned into Hawkheads that got traded to Miami. They have Dylan Jones, who's a first-round pick. It was like, okay, decent player. They had a first-round pick in Nick Clifford, who's okay. But this is the one. This is the last year of obligation, folks, 2026. And there's a chance that this could be the most valuable piece, even more valuable than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You know why? Because this pick, unprotected, goes to Oklahoma City, and the Clippers are having an awful season. So if the Clippers, Dan, end up with a top 4 pick, I won't even limit it to 1 because 1 isn't really consensus right now, and you say, I'm the best team in the league, I'm the champion, I have a window, and you're going to give me one of these great names, whether it's Darren Peterson from Kansas or Cam Boozer from Duke or A.J. Dubasta from BYU.
The kid from Baylor, too, is tough.
He's good. That Caleb Wilson from North Carolina. Like, there's a lot of names. It's like, you don't need to give me 1. If you give me top 4, I'm walking away with perhaps another generational talent. Dan, it's like when the Lakers got James Worthy. It's like they're already great.
But I guess the question that I'm asking you, we've spent a lot of time talking about Luka and Nico. Mm-hmm. Is that trade going to end up being worse?
I think we can say they're getting more. They got an all-star, an MVP, and perhaps a number 1 overall pick.
That's hindsight, though. Like we're redoing the history, revisionist history on that because nobody thought SGA was going to be the MVP.
But I'm asking you, I'm asking you to take the result and use the result.
If results, it's a worse deal because of the volume of greatness you got versus the Lakers got 1 great player in their deal. But the difference is, as Tony said, this one's a hindsight deal, whereas the Luka deal, on the day it happened, we all were asking Shams, did you get hacked?
I know, but I do find it funny that in one instance you've got Nico the expert and all of us disagree with it. In the other instance, there are plenty of people that agree with the Clippers making the move. But the result is the team you made the move with is the youngest, deepest team. They've got the championship. They might repeat. They've lost one time this year, and they're going to get better. Like all of their players are going to get better, and they're going to get better from future draft picks that they have.
Yeah, I think the big thing is that they were bad when they did that deal, whereas the Lakers, like, they already were a good team, and you gave them Luka? Come on, man.
Hi and hello, my fellow football Americans. Oh my, what a grand episode we have to get you right for NFL Week 11, plus some college football action. As a matter of fact, on the latter portion, Jessica Smetana is joining us. We might have to evaluate who the greatest college football team triplets of all time are. In fact, I can guarantee we will. We'll do the same with Gerald McCoy. Plus, he'll jump in on the biggest games of NFL Week 11. He'll tell us who's going to win. Can't wait for that conversation. And I suspect we'll also indulge some superhero talk too. Make sure you don't miss it. It's a good one, like I say, or you're going to really bum Mike and Gino Fuentes out. You don't want that on your shoulders. You know, the guilty conscience. How are you going to enjoy football all weekend? Just watch Football America, why don't you?